Beauty. Enjoy it on Fox Sports AFL. Craig Henry, Hayden Kennedy and Luke Farmer, the men in charge. The Blues to the right. Cats and Mark Blake to the left, and we're underway and early. Chapman with eyes for Simpson. And perhaps not the football there. Cameron Ling, the acting captain for Geelong, dispossessed. Houlihan wrapped up. And we'll get a second bounce in the middle. And this stadium really has filled late. It'll be upwards of 40,000 tonight.
Left of screen, you can see Cameron Ling on Stevens. That's the challenge you spoke about at the top of the program, Jason. And, well, the numbers will tell the story.
Stevens burning the Tigers for 30 touches last week. Wojcinski getting it from Ling to Chapman. Long inside the 50. Oh, Ottens has been collected by his teammate Nathan Ablett. He didn't mind too much. He gives it to Ablett, who has a crack early and misses to the near side.
Just thought there was a little bit of just non-commitment from Brad Ottens. Just a little bit
tentative.
Tentative, trying to go for that. A sliding chest mark was perfect. It was a great kick for the lead, but whether he just thought one of his opponents were going to come across in front of him, I'm not sure.
He had just 8 touches last week, was heavily criticised as Jordan Russell drives the Blues. And, well, there's Gerard's man. He was gazelle-like. Cameron Cloak spearing it towards Eddie Betts. I think it was intended for Lance Whitnell behind the mark, not paid. It's play on and the Cats can clear. The fleet of foot, Wojcinski gets it from Blake. Long and direct, Ottens on the lead.
Now, why Wojcinski struggled for games last year is staggering because of that very factor. Him bursting off that half-back line sets this club alight. And when you can run and kick like that, as we see Eddie Betts just dropping one that he should have taken, you can see exactly why he's highly regarded.
And Jason, how important for the confidence of Brad Ottens after a tough week that he kicks this?
Oh, absolutely huge. Not just for him, but for his teammates as well.
You're right behind the kick. And I asked you about how his confidence would be shattered.
And his teammates will look at him and go, oh, that's the last thing we need. You know, it was the perfect lead. A great pass from David Wojcinski. You've just got to finish off that work.
Still deep in attack. He'll ruck now against Cloak. Flicks it over his shoulder to Burns. That's a good, fair tackle provided by Gibbs. And we'll get a bounce.
I think it's a good move to put Gibbs in this back half, just to let him learn his trade by getting on players, learn the disciplines of AFL footy. And you can just see the closing speed there on Burn was impressive. Let's hope Ottens gets his hand on it again, because it's a shocking way to start if you're under the pump.
Thornton under pressure, got it to Cloak. Now Gibbs pops it up to a one-on-one. Half-back the Blues. Enright assumes the front position and has not paid the mark.
Please.
That was rough. Corey from 55 hitting the hot spot. It's all Carlton, and Cameron Cloak starting well.
Doesn't he look a different player, Jason?
And isn't Gerard preening because his boy is on fire early?
He has been there. I just love the way he's taken up the challenge.
And Eddie Betts, who was a live wire again last week with 14 touches, marking on half-back and going short. And it's Houlihan who can be patient. Geelong getting back in numbers. Houlihan driving to half-forward. Whitnell, they're trying to get the skipper involved after a disappointing week last week, but it comes a cropper again as Wojcinski feeds Enright, and now Scarlett peeling off for Vola. Again, fluid movement by the Cats through midfield.
Danger signs on Wojcinski. He is flying.
And look at Scarlett continuing to run. He had a shot at goal last week. He'll get a free here. Simpson holding him illegally. There's no advantage. It will come back to Scarlett.
Well, it was ill-disciplined play there by Kate Simpson. He's a smarter player than that, and he's really...
Kick smothered off the boot. Back to Scarlett. He'll never get another crack. He pops it in front of Ablett. And Nathan Ablett can have a shot from 35 out as good as directly in front.
It worked in the end, but I've got to tell you, I saw him last week, Matty Scarlett. His foot skills were very average. I don't know why, because he's normally a pretty assured kick. And first up there, he kicks into the man on the mark, didn't give himself enough time clearance-wise. And even when he did get the ball, could have had a shot, but elected to go to Ablett.
Here's Ablett. Cats doing all the attacking, and Ablett converts for the opening goal. He kicked 3-3 last week, and I reckon the inclusion of Hawkins into this team would have made Nathan Ablett feel perhaps a little bit more insecure about his position, because there might be a bit of a challenge there for him.
Well, that's what they certainly need, competition for spots. But the most important thing that you said there, Clinton, was they needed a good start. They've got all the play. You've got to put score on the board while that's happening. Cats lead 7-0. Stevens, Houlihan,
Inside 50 for Vola coming out. Bentic with a hurried kick will tumble to the top of the square. Milburn out wide. Joel Corey on half back, and he's got Bartel short. Chooses the longer option of Blake. He'll have Bartel presenting for him, gives it to him now. He's got Cameron Ling. Again, it's a great build-up. Can the acting skipper finish? 49 out on the run. Geelong have started well.
Well, it's the sort of start you wanted to see from Geelong if you're a Cats fan. Big question marks last week, but they've started the right way. Apart from a small hiccup with Brad Otten's missing what should have been a regulation shot for goal, they've now piled on a couple of quick ones. They're making the most of this dominant play in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the first quarter.
Well, and it's a great start by Cameron Ling, as you said. Nick Stevens yet to have any impact. He's had one handball only. He's kicking goals.
2-1 plays nothing.
Big challenge, though, for Mark Murphy. He is on Wojcinski. Wojcinski is the Geelong's best player at the moment. And he just needs to get his hands on the footy. And Blake doing well on the run.
Getting some confidence there, Blake. Although the Blues should be able to clear. Walker waxes with Scotland. Now Bentic driving to half. Oh, no, what a spectacular launch by Darren Milburn.
Fantastic leap. A hint of hands, though, when he went up, Terry.
Not even going to look at the hands.
Presnell to half forward, but there's Gibbs.
He started well.
Now Walker, a centering ball and covering some ground early is Cameron Cloke, and that's good vision to midfield, and picking it up and running with it is Russell. 1-on-2 for Vola, got to beat a couple, and at the back, Joel Corey with the mark.
I tell you what, they've spoken about Brad Otten's going to play a bigger role in the ruck tonight. I reckon there's a good argument to get him in there early because Mark Blake's getting touched up by Cameron Cloke.
Running in waves, the Cats. They have started aggressively. Mackey goes to Ottens. That full stretch couldn't hang on. O'Halpin now. Hemmed in by Bartel. Bentic in support will get a boundary throw in.
And right now the Blues, I reckon their coaching group would be saying, we're going pretty well. Have a look at that for a big fly.
There were hands.
Everyone will want to
hands on the shoulder.
There were hands.
But you'd hate to see that taken off him, wouldn't
But
you?
a rule's a rule, Jason, isn't it? True. Or are we going to be like the NBA basketball and let those travels go if we get a slam dunk? Here's Carlton peeling away. Needs something. This man can run. We know that. Wait for Mark Murphy. Talented youngster. 2-on-1 Blues for Vola and Whitnell. Lance needs this for his confidence. Great way to start, skipper. And he's pumped. Oh, there would have been some eyes focused on him had he missed that one, but he didn't. That's a great way to answer.
It was a stellar way to answer. And really, the Blues have gone into forward 50 enough, but they've just mucked it up with this final kick. But this time, Waite elected to go one extra. This is the man. He just assesses it well. He's been touched up, but he's a quality bloke. He'll fight back. Well done, Fev. You knew your skipper needed it. It was the right decision anyway, and well done to Big Lance. Probably the goal he loved the most in his career.
Carazzo onto the ground for the Blues. Bentic comes off for a spell.
Perfect bounce in the centre. Blake the hit out for Ling. High one to centre half forward for Chapman. Walker fist in the right place. Gary Ablett Jr. the crumbs. Enright the fumble. Good bump by Russell. Scotland. Neat little hurdle. Uses Thornton. We've been playing nearly 9 minutes of the opening term. And Cameron Cloke has had it 5 times already. Josh Hunt leaping high to provide the spoil. Running onto it. Houlihan backs himself. Caught holding the ball.
Ooh, pretty harsh, the umpire there, I would have thought. But just on Blake, I think Blake's killing them at the centre clearances. He's getting first use of the ball, but
as soon as the bounce is over, though, it's all Cloke around the ground.
Ablett.
Interesting matchup with East Scotland.
And his brother presenting. Now Nathan. Ottens leads to the pocket. He goes to him. He's in front. Again, it's poor service to the big man for the Cats. It was short. Boundary throw-in.
I'm with you, Jason. Give him a run in the ruck. The closing speed of Satano Halpin is the concern against Brad.
Cats bench, Varco, Selwood, Gardner and Hawkins. So some youth there. 3 of them with just 1 game between them.
It's a young team, this Cats team.
There's a high one. And the free going to Joel Corey. Quick ball inside the 50. Good spoil Thornton on Nathan Ablett. Here's Cameron Cloke again. Walker for Gibbs, the future of the Blues. Short one for the former Magpie in Scotland. Draws heavy traffic. Cameron Cloak a funnel right now, everything going through him. And he backs himself for a bounce. Long ball in the Kennedy direction. Did well to assume the front spot. Carazzo brought down. Chapman in a wrestle with Betts. Chapman wins out. That's not 15 to Blake. Play on. The hands were good though for Hunt. Hurries a kick to half forward. Gary Ablett Jr. He's got good balance. Kept his feet. Couldn't gather it. Scotland now with support from Gibbs and Houlihan.
They're under severe pressure is the Carlton backline, but they're holding up at the moment. Their kicking out is not helping them.
And breaking down through midfield as Milburn goes in the Nathan Ablett direction. But again, Carlton with numbers. He is everywhere.
Well,
Cameron Cloak with 8 possessions.
He's a rough road, and they've got to do something about it. The Cats, he's hurting them.
Now the Blues can run. Murphy to Stevens in the Favola direction, but over his head. Getting back Mackie, pushed in the side. Fair play by Favola. Fev's got the glint in the eye, hasn't he? He's 50 metres out. He loads it up towards Whitnell, getting back. And Egan, close to a spectacular mark, but not quite.
Oh, great hands.
Wojcinski, and got a good shepherd too. Providing that was Prismal. Blake, effective kick. Bartel with space. Goes short. Ablett on the lead. Ball over his head. It opens the door for Gary Ablett. Was it high? Yes. It'll come back. Shot at goal for Gary Ablett Jr.
Well, just a sloppy mistake there by the Blues, and Gary Ablett Jr. Just pounced on it. But, Jason, this is probably self-evident for anyone here and anyone watching on Fox Sports, but this game is being played at an enormous tempo.
Yeah, frenetic pace at the moment. Just Satanda O'Halpin overrunning the ball, which unfortunately ended up in the hands of Gary Ablett, who looked to be covered 2-on-1. Scotland was around as well. He thought O'Halpin had the ball, and to his horror looked up, and all of a sudden Ablett had it. High tackle from Houlihan.
Third in the best and fairest for the last 2 years. 35-28 was his goal behind tally last year. He squeezes this one through for Geelong's third, and they're out to a 13-point lead.
Well, they have had plenty of play going forward, the Cats, so very important they get the goals on the board, because you've got to think at any stage of a match when you're having play, you know that at some stage it'll swing, and if you don't put the score on the board, you'll get punished at the other end. On this occasion, Ablett's been very good because a couple of times he's attacked the ball 1 against 2, and he's managed to get his hands on it and make something out of nothing.
They look dangerous up forward, the Cats. They haven't, as you said, put enough score on the board for what's been in there. I think that's because of Cameron Cloak just dropping back there a lot. But it's now Murphy onto the ball, and Carazzo's gone forward, and Wojcinski will be picking him up.
Otton's there rucking for Geelong. Joel Corey extracts the footy, and there's a one-handed party trick from Houlihan. That was impressive. Now White from half-back. And delivery to the wing. Carazzo in between a couple of Cats who were conscious of not getting him high. It's over for a boundary throw-in.
Travis Varco on for the Cats, on for his first run. Plenty of pace.
Boundary throw-in. Ottens assumes the front spot, virtually uncontested in the end for Wojcinski. Now he'll give it to Cameron Leang. Cats get the clearance. Nathan Ablett's presenting well in this match so far. And he's going to get a free kick.
Yep.
And a shot at goal potentially coming up for Nathan Ablett.
Well, they're just getting great supply from the clearances at the present time, Geelong. And that's why they're drawing free kicks like this, because the pressure is coming thick and fast. And she's tough going at the moment for defenders.
He paid it for over the shoulder, but there was initially one hand in the middle of the back. So either way, it looked a free kick to Nathan Ablett.
Lining up for his second in his 13th senior game. Directly in front. The kick is good. The Ablets and the Cats have come to play tonight, and they've scooted out to a 19-point lead halfway through this opening term on Fox Sports AFL.
We spoke about Nathan Ablett prior to the match. He's just starting to look a little bit more comfortable. He leads very well. He mightn't be the quickest player along the ground, but he reads it well. He puts himself in the right positions. And we know if you play in front and you attack the footy, there's a fair chance if you don't get it, you could get a free kick.
He looks pretty comfortable at the moment. But Tom Hawkins in the goal square, Jason, and he's right beside Satanda O'Halpin.
There he is. The Tomahawk, his dad,
And Gary
had
Ablett
his
at
eyes
his feet.
split open by Len Thompson on his senior debut at Vic Park many years ago. So we'll be hoping that the young man has a better debut here. Carlton fans think they've had a raw deal from the men in yellow. They get the free here, and Walker, look at the acceleration there, delivers into the pocket. Can be a great duel all night. Scarlett, a former All-Australian full-back with the All-Australian full-forward in Favola.
Seb just gave a little one away too. I think it was Mackie who ran across in front of him. He got a little clip for his trouble.
I think Lance Whitner was wondering why it didn't go longer to the square.
That free kick, by the way, was Carlton's first for the night as Carazzo.
That is brilliant.
Sharks the Ottens hit out and slots a wonderful goal.
That's just instinctive play. It's not something you can actually teach. He just attacked it full on. Have a look at him come from the right-hand side of the screen, and he just reads what Brad Ottens is going to do. Now, Ottens took possession. He's handballing to a teammate. You can't hold him at fault there, but just fantastic reading of the play by Carazzo, and even better was the quick snap on the left boot.
He'll feel like he's got a point to prove. He spent a couple of years on the Geelong rookie list, did Andrew Carazzo, but it's at Carlton where he's plied his trade. 43rd game now. He was
Missed out, despite being a star in that all-time famous Judd, Ball and Hodge draft. Star in the under-18s. He's had to work his way up, but he is coming with a rush right now, Carazzo. He really is becoming a hell of a player.
Second bounce coming up in the middle.
And that's one way of making Wojcinski accountable. You kick a goal on him, and all of a sudden now David Wojcinski isn't looking at running down the ground. He's worried about Carazzo.
Hit out, count 12-2 now in favour of the Cats. Chapman laying it off by hand. Joel Selwood, the second game, a kick smothered. Here's Murphy. He's usually precise by foot, not this time, and that's helped over for a boundary throw-in. Lee Colbert at ground level.
I'm just down on the boundary line here, just in front of where that one went out of bounds. But interesting matchup. Dennis Pagan asking questions of Ryan Houlihan, normally a ball player, and having to pick up the elusive Gary Ablett Jr.
Tough task on any day or night as Ottens, well, dangerous, grabbed it there, got the hand pass away from Mackie, threads his way through heavy traffic. Kick looks ugly, bounces up to Cam Mooney, noticeable by his absence so far without a touch, and White dominated there. Houlihan for Scotland. Switch to the outer side for Simpson.
Looney coming off for a spell.
Favola on a really hard lead here. Simpson goes over his head towards Whitnell. Cats had a loose man back, and there's a free for a push against Lance.
They're struggling, the Blues forward line, against this loose man. The players midfield aren't working it. They're not going around it. They're just still bombing, and it's not working to their advantage.
Bartel bombs here to midfield, and Scarlett over Simpson.
He's a proud man, is Matthew Scarlett, and he was criticised in the press about leadership. So it's not surprising that he's having a fair start.
No, you'd expect him to, but his first kick was smothered. Good to see him coming into the play now, and I think he almost stood on Fev's head there afterwards.
Milburn's kick, a poor one, and Simpson with the intercept and 50. Has to be 50 against Joel Selwood.
Just keep your eyes on Mark Murphy now. He's on the middle of the ground. He's had some important touches since he's come onto the ball. He's going head-to-head with Joel Corey, and they're not spending too much time beside each other, so he will pick up a host of possessions, because if you want a ball magnet, he's one.
Could be a very costly 50. Cade Simpson in his 45th senior game, 21 goals alongside of his name from right on the 50. The kick is fading away for just one behind. 2 straight kicks, the margin here at Telstra Dome. As Russell takes a spell, so does Nick Stevens for the Blues.
Only a couple of early touches, Nick Stevens. Just the one kick, one hand pass. Cameron Ling did a very, very good job on him.
Milburn will want to be a little bit more precise on this occasion. Gets the hurry up. And in the end, Selwood presents out wide.
Interesting at the kick-ins, Matthew Scarlett is pushing right down to the centre line. He's now just working his way back in.
Trying to take Fev out of the danger zone as Selwood kicks in the Gardner direction over the head of he and Whitnell and a number of others. And we get a boundary throw in right on the wing, so the change is made. Whitnell coming off. You see Kennedy going on for the Blues, and Blake takes a seat for Geelong.
Plenty of space through the corridor.
Geelong again dominating the hit outside. That was good vision, Corey. Saw Prismal running to space.
Well done.
Waite playing excellent in defence so far.
Started very well, Jared Waite. He had Cameron Mooney early and was just a little bit too agile, a little bit too athletic for Cameron Mooney. As soon as the ball hit the deck, he was away rebounding, so Charlie Gardner's replaced Mooney.
Titans full of endeavour, at least early. Bentic caught by Corey. Simpson, good hands. Houlihan takes off. No one coming at him. Elects to kick quickly. Wiggins. Close but not quite. Good pressure by Egan. Couple of little pirouettes and was poised enough to go to Milburn, and they'll switch it now because Scarlett, and they can attack that far side of the ground. Wings in space short.
Again, though, Jason, going inside 50. Carlton kicking to 3-on-2.
Yep. Ling back for Bartel. Josh Hunt for Scarlett. Breaks the tackle. Well done, Scarlett. And here is Hawkins. Well, we saw it last week with Bryce Gibbs. Is he going to have a crack with his first kick in league footy?
Let's hope so. And Jared spoke about that as well. A question you asked was how will he handle his first kick for goal? We're about to find out. Just exciting for him on the long lead. He did it very well. And Matty Scarlett really starting to come into his own.
A father-son pick, which was the third round of the draft last year. He would have gone the top few. He's been rushed into this Geelong senior team. His first kick in AFL footy, and the tomahawk has missed it to the left-hand side. Oh, Jason, you were right in that one.
Oh, that was a nice-looking kick. I mean, from 50 metres out, he gave it a good roost, and he's only missed by about a metre or so to the left-hand side.
Blues spirited away quickly. This is Lappin, trailing by 13 points. Loose man on the wing. And Russell's got it.
Stevens back onto the ground, working hard.
And he'll be on the end of this. No, he won't, because Bartel with some courage to get in the way and take the mark. Cameron Wing with his sixth disposal, finding Joel Corey. There's some confidence about their midfield here, Geelong. Wojcinski running, good evasive skills. Going to Milburn, the defender floating forward, and from 45 outloads them up and pushes it across the face as we check in with Lee Colbert.
Yes, Matty Scarlett, he's actually pushing well up the ground. What he's doing is he's getting up there, as Jared mentioned, trying to get Fowler as far away from the goals as he can, but he's getting plenty of coverage from Egan and Darren Milburn.
So, Jason, in that situation, you're Favola. Do you have to follow him? Do you try and say, all right, you roll the dice, I'm staying back?
Well, he's got to make a judgment call. I mean, it's the defender that needs to pick up the forward, but if he thinks Scarlett's going to be used, he goes. If he thinks he's just running for the sake of running, you let him go.
Scotland to Walker on the outer wing. Margin 14 points. This is good running by Simpson. He's got Varco, the first gamer, in pursuit. Simpson from a tight angle. Carazzo in the square. Off hands, one behind.
Game kicking to a pack, though, the Blues. They've got forwards that can lead. They're just kicking it to contests. And whilst it's great for the crowd, it's not good for forwards.
Bartel winning a free. Advantage play honours. Enright goes to Milburn. Coming up on 4 minutes remaining in what's been an entertaining opening term.
And Milburn's been one of their best.
Prismal can go wide for Gardner. Had just the 11 touches last week. Presenting as Chapman, who was their spark in the second quarter, as they threatened to get back in it against the Bulldogs last week. They went on to lose by 20 points.
I tell you what, he ran hard for that Paul Chapman. He started up on the wing, read the way the play was coming down, and he just provided the overlap. Good hard running, about a 70-metre lead to space.
There's a leader for the boys from Cardinia Park. Coach's Award and the best and fairest last year for Paul Chapman. And he won it in a landslide. 462 votes, 79 clear of Jimmy Bartel. Tightish angle, as you see. The kick from 45 is missing to the near side.
And they're throwing the mix around the Blues, trying to get a forward line that's got some potency at the moment. There's Lancey's on the bench. I'm not sure whether that's a structural thing or just an energy break. But they've got Fisher off, and they've got Lance off and Eddie Betts. They're three starting forwards.
Here's Gibbs. 6 touches early. This one to the wing, making Wiggins stretch, but he takes the mark.
Good lead to Kennedy.
Yep.
And rewarded. Now, real important ball towards the 50. Well, he's patient enough to go to Scotland, and he's got Favola with 3 to beat that time, and Corey sees it away comfortably for a throw-in.
Well, he's getting frustrated, Fev. He thought there was a little bit of space to lead into, but it was closed down very quickly, and that's what happens when you're a big name forward. We see it with Jonathan Brown just about every week. Defenders will leave their opponents because they know most of the kicks will go to that player.
Once again, though, it's inexperience. That's a throw out
Yes,
of the right.
it was Blake. It was basketball style. Off a rebound, just palming it down, and it's a free kick for the Blues and a goal-scoring chance as you have a look at that.
Bad luck for the young man.
He might be a good
spot.
rugby union player.
He was probably a good volleyballer as well.
Yeah, he did everything right. He got in the right position, clearly won the hit out, but just didn't know whether to tap it or hand pass it, and did neither.
Real chance for Nick Stevens to get a get-out-of-jail free card here because he's struggled this quarter, and this one would help.
A potential gift for the Blues. Nick Stevens takes full advantage. His second kick is a goal. And the Blues are back within 8 points.
And I can tell you right now who the dirtiest man out on the ground is. That's Cameron Lang. He has kept Nick Stevens to 2 touches for most of the first quarter. That's an incredible return. All of a sudden, the ruckman gives away a free kick at the contest. Your man gets an absolute laydown as he kicks a goal with it. Oh, you feel for Cameron Lang. He's done such a good job.
He'd be filthy. And Nick Stevens would be absolutely thrilled with that one. What a bonus.
Well, the Blues fighting their way back. The margin got out to 19 points. It's been halved. In fact, more than that. Centre clearance for Carlton. Bounce important. Josh Hunt has support from Ling. Well, will he use Blake? Yes. And pass forward, Jinski. The speedster with 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Gary Ablett, good at ground level. 45 out. Missing.
Geez, I love that he transitioned from the back half to the front half for Geelong. Jason, it's been electric. They've no nonsense a number of times. They've found holes in the Carlton defence, and it's a good basis for the rest of the game.
And they are continuing the pattern of last week, and that's when the opportunity presents itself, kick long into the forward line.
Other end of the ground, they've got some real worries. The Blues, their main man Favola has got 2 or 3 opponents, and yet they continue to look for him. They've got to find another target.
Fisher's first kick to the wing, marked by Wiggins. 90 seconds to go in the tomb. Simpson running towards half forward, takes the mark. Now Kennedy's trying to get to space. Favola's back near the top of the square. Dangerous centering kick because Geelong have been good on the counter strike.
Look at the rebound.
They've been good. Burns in space. Has support, elects to go long. Now this is going to be tough for Ablett here. Wait from the side. Probably wasn't the right option, that long kick on that occasion. As Scotland goes to Fisher. Down to a minute.
Kate Simpson size with relief.
Favola has it knocked away fairly. Play on, Lappin. Was he pushed? No. Is he holding it? Not yet. Scarlett. Leg, free to Geelong. Advantage play on. It's being played at a frenetic pace.
That's it right.
Prismal for Burns. He's caught. Carlton's tackling is good. Important final 35 seconds. Gardner towards half forward. Hawkins again.
How good are the hands, but he's got no one forward to kick to. He's got to go short here.
And he does.
Gardner.
Gardner can play on. And in the dying seconds of the quarter, he misses.
Geez, it would have been big for momentum to go to the quarter-time break with that one underneath your belt.
I'll tell you what, a lot to like about Tom Hawkins' way he attacks the footy. And no first game nerves, just the hands. It reminds me of Stuart Lowe. The big buckets just clamp it.
He's a big unit, isn't he? 103 kilograms, 197 centimetres. There's Tomahawk. So he stands a good few inches. And his dad jumping Jack did when he played for the Cats between 73 and 81. Scotland backs himself to run away. Got the hand pass away. High ball to midfield. Might be the final act of this opening stanza. And it was very entertaining. And the end result is, after Geelong led 4-1, it's Carlton who have prized it back to within 10 points at quarter time. 4-6 to 3-2 here on Fox Sports AFL.
And I'd suggest that that's a pretty good result for Carlton. I think Geelong had most of the play in the first quarter, and to find themselves only 10 points down with Fev hardly having a touch, I think Dennis Pagan's got something to work with.
Yeah, you'd be pretty pleased. They had to absorb all of that expected verve and enthusiasm early. Geelong were always going to come bouncing back. They probably could have been further ahead on the scoreboard. Got some issues up forward to work with the Blues, as you said, as has that man in his individual battle. But what a start to the game.
10 scoring shots to 5. Cats by 10 points at quarter time.
No deposit, no interest, no repayments till November 2008. Now at Harvey Norman. Update lounges, dining suites and occasional furniture. Makeover with bedding, bed linen and bedroom furniture now. No deposit, no interest, no repayments till November 2008. Now at Harvey Norman. Go for the latest home entertainment and lifestyle appliances. Upgrade your computer and mobile technology now. Why wait? Buy now at Harvey Norman with 20 months interest free. No deposit, no interest, no repayments till November 2008 at Harvey Norman now.
G'day, Clarkie here. Want to join the Fox Sports Rugby commentary team? Show us what you've got. Go to tuisnew.com.au, hit the Your Shout link, watch the clip, then record your demo.
Classic rugby.
Enter by yourself or team up with a mate. And if your entry grabs the attention of the Fox commentary team, you could be calling a Bledisloe Cup match live from Melbourne. Tui's New will also fly you to the game and put you up in a hotel.
Is that the best thing you've seen in 1,000 years? The best try in world rugby ever.
Enter now at tuisnew.com.au.
He's the world's hottest hitmaker. Now Timberland presents Shock Value. The new album with Nelly Furtado, Justin Timberlake and many more.
Everybody put up their hands.
The unbelievable limited edition Rip Curl Falcon XR Ute comes with over $2,700 of extra value, including 18-inch alloys, Rip Curl badge waterproof seat covers, 6-disc sound system and Momo steering wheel, plus the chance to win a Rip Curl surf trip.
Jono, what?
For you and a mate.
What are you doing? Can't a bloke do a favour for a mate?
You just have to decide which mate to take.
This 2007 Fox 8 is exclusive. In 2007, Fox 8 is exclusive.
Easter Sunday on Fox Sports. The Kangaroos want to bounce back after a dramatic defeat at the G, but Port found the power to win in the West and want to do it all again. 1 o'clock at 8.
Are you kidding me?
And at 5, it's Twilight Footy, live and active, as the Doggies chase win number 2 against a Crow side looking to avenge last weekend's shock loss.
It's great footy.
Sunday AFL, Port Adelaide and the Kangaroos at 1, and Western Bulldogs Adelaide at 5, all live on Fox Sports 1.
An opening chapter full of highlights from a packed Telstra Dome on Fox Sports AFL Saturday Night Football. The Cats 4-6, the Blues 3-2. The Ablets with 3 of Geelong's 4 goals. Milburn getting plenty of touches. Heath Scotland, no surprise, with a dozen for Carlton. Houlihan with 11. As you check the numbers, more of the uncontested ball and contested ball won by the Cats. The rest of it fairly even, although Geelong with 6 more entries inside their attacking 50 in the opening term. 4-6 to 3-2 the scoreline. Mark Thompson promising that this year his team will be playing more direct, high-scoring brand of football, backing themselves, taking risks, moving the ball quickly, and signs of that with 10 scoring shots in the opening term.
Absolutely, it's been exciting to watch, and Geelong getting first hands on the ball at most of the stoppages. We have a look at the hit-outs. Otten's got 7, Blake's got 5. There's 12 between the 2 ruckmen. On the other side of the coin, Cameron Cloak has just the 2 hit-outs, and Kane Ackland has 1.
Yeah, Bomber Thompson has been criticised at times by some in the media for not showing enough emotion. Well, he looked pretty pumped up to me there, Jason. I mean, I think he knows that this is a vital game, and he means business, as I think he has always done, but in trying to control that emotion, I think it's been misinterpreted.
And I think a little bit of that emotion probably reflects the fact that they dominated the first quarter. They had 10 scoring shots to 5. but they only lead by 10 points. They should probably be 3 or 4 goals in front. And Dennis Pagan alternatively smiling because he thinks, we got out of jail there, we can get right back into it.
And he just elbowed Lee Colbert, who's got Brett Ratton alongside.
Brett, high intensity first quarter.
Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing for us at the start. Contested ball, Geelong really got on top of us, so we've got to really work and get back into the game in that part.
And you're looking after the forwards, Fev. Your instructions to him?
They're getting Bartel and a few back, so we need to be patient and make sure we get a few numbers down there and a few options, not just Fev.
All the best, mate.
Good on you, mate.
Good work, Lee. Thanks for that. Lee Colbert at ground level. Whitnell's going to start on the bench for the Blues in this second term with Bentic, Lappin and Cameron Cloke, with Geelong leading by 10 points.
Well, I think they'd be concerned about the pace. The rebound from Geelong has been superb, and that's going to be the challenge for Lance. Maybe they'll just wait and see until it slows a bit. Matthew Lappin also a bit slowish in the league speed department. Smart, both players in the brain department. But this time it's going to be Kane Ackland to start off. That enormous run from Cameron Cloke. But this is a story unfolding right now. If Thomas Hawkins can mark and kick goals like we saw in that opening term, particularly to mark, well, then he's a star.
His parents drove down from Finley in New South Wales today for his debut as we get the second term underway. Cats to the right with Chapman gathering the crumbs, well read by Bryce Gibbs.
I like the move of this bloke down back. He's got a very good footy brain. He reads it well.
Carazzo with Walker on the wing. Favola leading hard to half forward. And Scarlett is there in the back. Free to Favola, and Matty's not happy about that one.
It'll be interesting to see where the umpire marks it. He's pointing to the mark about 52 metres out from goal. We have a look.
Gee, well.
That is an extremely lucky free kick.
Another look, Jason.
I don't... Oh, look. Oh. Is that hand in the back or is it on the side? It was...
The reaction says it all. I think everyone's voting with their voice right now. Even Carlton supporters were doing that decision. Well,
not quite.
Not sure about that. He got him a bit proppy, though. This will really test him.
55 out.
Oh, look at that.
He unloads. Close. Touched on the line.
He can kick the footy, Feb. There's no doubting that.
Prismal. Cats with Scarlett on halfback, who controlled his emotions very well then after that decision. Delivering to Nathan Ablett, but with courage, doubling back Mark Murphy. Now, Blues have got the overlap on the far side. He's gone long to Kennedy. He's committed for the contest. He kept his footing well. Simpson draws defence. Favola screaming for it long. They go to him. He's got to beat 3. He might beat them on the ground. He feeds it off, and Russell's hurried kick is very wide.
Well, it's a poor kick from Kate Simpson. You've just got to be smarter. He did the right thing when he looked up and there was no obvious person to kick it to, but then long bombs. That's what they're just feeding off at the moment, the Cats.
Mackie to Prismal. Can go to the centre corridor and does. Joel Corey short for Ablett. Gary's got it. Chapman inside 50. Good running. Started this movement all the way at half-back and takes it 45 metres out.
Good quick movement of the footy again. That's what Bomber Thompson's been talking about, and great vision from Gary Ablett leading up. Houlihan's done a good job on him. Kept him to 4 touches in the first quarter, and he did kick 1 goal, but I thought he did a very good job, Ryan Houlihan. But he doesn't need that many touches to have an impact on the game.
Has developed into a fine player for the Cats, Paul Chapman. He was the 31st pick in the national draft of '99. Their lead is 8 points. This kick way out to the left won't be a score. Over the top, Cam Mooney. He plays on, and the big man delivers. And there's some excitement for Geelong fans. A Hawkins, a Nathan Ablett, and now Cam Mooney coming to the fore.
And don't worry, Jared, you talk about emotion. Did you see Cameron Mooney after that? He didn't touch it in the first quarter. He spent time on the pine. He didn't like that. He wants to be one of the leaders of this club. He takes the big mark, kicks the goal, and then lets the emotion out.
Jeez, it looks dangerous all of a sudden. We've had one glimpse of Tom Hawkins, but I mean, this bloke can take grabs and kick goals. You got Hawkins beside him. He's going to need mining, even though he is inexperienced. You've got 2 Ablets down there, both of whom are match winners or developing into. And I think Brad Otten's his best serve right there.
Yep. Winning the hit-outs. Chapman's kick is smothered. Carlton, this is a key 5 minutes here for the Blues. They've got to hang in there. Corey, Chapman, Hunt, look out. Punches the handball in the path of Prismal. Simpson closing. Prismal going deep to the pocket. Ablett there. And Carlton should win out. Houlihan for Thornton for Murphy. The switch is on. Gibbs in space, and he's got the dock side of this ground to run. Going to a dangerous situation for the Blues. Play on is the call. Russell's caught behind. Milburn, good pickup. Had a lot of the footy. Wojcinski didn't panic. In right. Good movement. Corey now with Mackie to his right. Uses him. Closes to 60 and centres it. Gibbs knocked it away from Hawkins. Look out, Betts. The Tomahawk was closing. Stevens throw helping. Tomahawk's got him. Cats away. Varco a fumble from the first gamer. Stevens traps it in. We should get a bounce. We will.
Great stuff by the Cats. The intensity's superb.
You've got to love the way they're running the ball out of defence, but to Travis Varco, he just took off before acceptances. Thinking about running into an open goal, just needed to take clean possession first.
And his man Bryce Gibbs, he's having a blinder.
He is.
Here's Varco. First kick in league football. He slotted it. What a unique club that is. It gets another entry. First kick at AFL footy, and like Bryce Gibbs last week, it's a goal for Travis Varco.
And the great thing about this passage of play is it comes immediately after he made a fumble. And have a look how clever and composed he was under the pressure there. He didn't just throw it on the boot, which is the strong urge to do early on in your first game. He knew what was around him, feigned the kick, stepped inside an opponent, and then slotted the goal.
And isn't it good to see that number 5 back on the field for the first time since the 96 qualifying final? The legendary number 5 from Farmer to Ablett, now worn by Travis Varco. And all of a sudden the Cats have skipped 20 points clear and they're dominating out of the middle. Chapman sends it to space. Who will lift for the Blues? Walker, collared by a desperate Corey. Walker does well, and Scotland now can feed it off for Gibbs for Carazzo.
Can Bryce Gibbs find the footy?
He's a really good find on that half back line. I think they thought he was a midfielder, and he can play there, but he's taken that midfield brain to defence and doing really well.
Simpson backs himself. Kick lets him down. Milburn for Josh Hunt.
The midfield is slaughtering Carlton right now. Even though they're winning the footy reasonably well, their kicking into the forward line has been at a very average standard.
Prismal wide for Ling out on the full.
They've got to work it round. They've got to start finding a target 40 or 30 metres out. The long bomb to the square is really hurting them, Jason, and maybe Brendan Favoula's just got to become a decoy forward.
Yeah, well, looking for Fisher. He was running around on his own for a long time, but numbers back now.
Fisher waiting down, opportunist goal. Doesn't have to have a lot of the footy to be damaging Brad Fisher, and the Blues needed that. It's back to 14 points.
And that's the classic point. In case Brendan Favoula took Matthew Scarlett out to the forward pocket, he wasn't involved in this piece of action. There you see Scarlett on left of screen, and his sensational defensive skills didn't impact on that contest, and Fisher gets his goal.
He'd been running around on his own, Fisher. The kick was actually looking for him, but by the time it got there, too many, he was smart enough to stay down.
Turns 23 on Monday. Brad Fisher kicked a couple last week and getting the Blues back to within 14 points here. Now, can they extract it from the middle? Cloak knocking it on. Prisnell in the way. Underground handball. Clever. Varco stopped it for Corey. Great tackle by Gibbs. Now Murphy has to go long. Fisher coming out. Arm chop in the back. Free kick against Milburn. Now again, Favola's got plenty of Geelong uniforms around him. The kick's high towards centre half forward. Crummer's required. Russell gives it to Favola. Standing start from 50.
Boy, that's a great snap off one step.
That is a rare talent. I reckon Malcolm Blight was about the only other bloke I can remember could snap it 60 metres over their shoulder. And Fev did it easy. Once again, though, the Blues kicking to a contest. It's Russian roulette stuff. It's hurt them badly. Cameron Cloak pushed down deep and hard. He was on his own.
Bartel to Ling. Good use of the body. Got rid of Carazzo. Delivers to the wing. This is Milburn.
He's been a star, Milburn. He's had 13 possessions.
Now the agility of Cameron Cloak has him back pedaling. We wouldn't have said that last year. Josh Hunt spears it to Scarlett. 55 out.
Oh, if you can see Brad Otten's on the open side.
He goes to Mooney. Lappin is closing. Mooney evades him, keeps it low and saw Ottens, and it was a wonderful pass.
It was all about vision as the ball went into the attacking 50 then. We could see Brad Otten's working down the open side. Matty Scarlett didn't see him at first option, but Cameron Mooney certainly did. And then a beautiful low pass that just found him before any defenders could get back to chop it out.
And a telling stat there, 8 marks to none inside 50 in Geelong's favour.
Well, that's the way it's been. They've had an open forward line where they could nominate targets to hit by foot, whereas Carlton have to bomb it into a packed forward line and hope for Crum to go.
Important shot for confidence, obviously, here. He's worked his way into the game again. Can he deliver the cream?
He should get this. And he does. Ottens with his first. Geelong with a 3-goal-to-1 second quarter unfolding, and they're out by 19 points.
Normally a very good kick of the football. It was a big surprise when he shanked his first one. Here's Matty Scarlett. Just wasn't quite sure what to do. He found Cameron Mooney, but big Cameron Mooney starting to have an impact now. He's kicked the goal, set up another one after a very quiet first quarter.
And the Matthew Scarlett impact on this game forward of the defensive 50 is really starting to mount.
Ottens kick true at ground level, Lee Colbert.
Just watching Matthew Scarlett, he's doing that waxing roll with Darren Milburn, but great play by the Cats. But I tell you what, watching Bryce Gibbs close up, he is a phenomenal player already.
Stevens for Scotland. Very high ball to half forward. Tough to mark. Mackie to spoil. Murphy favoured by the bounce. And can Carazzo get it off hands? No. Getting back, Wojcinski, little fumble. Regather. Drew the blue defenders. Scarlett waiting in the wings. Clears the danger zone for the time being. Gibbs has read this very well. Doesn't give away a free. Pumps it longer for Vola. Again, look at all those white and blue hoops. Favola did well against them, but Enright feeds Milburn. They might have to concede a behind to steady here. Fisher wraps him up, holding the ball. Gee, that's red hot.
Are you kidding me? Darren Milburn indicating that he got taken head high, and it did look that way. It was a fumble. I don't know if a fumble means you're passing up your prior opportunity, but the ball was fumbled, and he went to handball it. He got tackled around the head. I think that is a very tough decision, Clinton.
I'm with you on that one. Fisher lining up for his second goal of the quarter. Tight angle, but not too far out. He should be able to slot it. And he does. Brad Fisher with his second. And Milburn and the Cat defence harshly dealt with there at 7-6 to 5-5.
Yeah, a couple of second quarter goals to Brad Fisher. Very important because once again, Carlton are just making goals out of nothing. You could see the fumble there. I don't know what his prior opportunity was, to be honest. I know, and I'm very happy with the holding the ball rule.
It's not so much prior opportunity because he was on his knees and he dragged it in, and therefore you forego your prior opportunity.
Is it dragging it in, or he took possession to then go and handball it?
Really, second look.
His only other option was to tap it to space out in front of the goals, and that's not an option for a defender.
But unfortunately, that's the grey area of that rule.
Yep.
Or the black area.
Stevens for O'Halpin. Towards half forward. Well read by Mackie. Away. On the lead, Mooney. O'Halpin filled the hole courageously.
That was brilliant play by Satanta.
Ablett. Gary. For Corey. For Ablett, Nathan. Geelong missing to the right-hand side. Nathan Ablett with 2 goals, 2 now.
Yeah, Gilted's opportunity there wasted for the Cats.
Could have kept going too. He wasn't under pressure, but just can't believe though the continuation of the Blues bombing that ball, Jason. It's just not making sense to me with so many Geelong defenders back there. Once again,
another example.
Issue.
Yep. Milburn runs straight into Wiggins.
Now, that was prior opportunity.
It was a big hit. It's play on. Wojcinski away. 2 bounces. Crossing midfield. 3 bounces. Closing to 60. Giving it for Chapman. Out wide. Blake too far out. On the lead is Mooney into the pocket.
Oh, no.
Oh, big men shouldn't do that.
Correct.
Definitely shouldn't do that.
Played Murphy.
And Walker's away. Scotland draws 3. Oh, Chapman. That was a good duel, Danny Cullen.
There is nothing worse than watching a big man try to complicate the game, because by the time the message goes from head to foot, everyone else has read what he's going to do, and the turnovers are moral.
And another look at the Wiggins tackle on Milburn. From the boundary throw-in, Carlton pries it clear. Ball to the wing. Oh, Simpson just lost it at the last moment. Mackie flings it out. Play on the call.
Good stuff, Ablett.
Oh, bodies flying all over the place.
Hey, this is a great game of footy at the moment.
It is as hot as it comes in there in tight. Scotland's caught. Was it high? No. Play on. Scotland suffering it for Wiggins. Simpson. Walker. Being stalked by Gary Ablett. Clever. Finds Stevens. Favola this time, perhaps? No. Chopped off by Egan.
As against the scrimmaging we've seen in other games this round, this game has got plenty of in-tight contest, but the ball is still flowing.
Ling over the top. Selwood, the second gamer, backs himself for a bounce. Has to get it off. Caruso is there. Ling again. Too long. Cameron Ling too slow holding the ball. Shaw. Play on. Scotland. Now Houlihan, good shepherd by Cloak. Oh, and the blaze away continues. Milburn for Chapman in the middle. 9 minutes left in a pulsating second quarter. Here's Gardner. Now, space at half forward. Burns, Gary Ablett. Always a touch of flair. Setting up Mackie. The goals beckon. And Geelong have sprayed another chance. 7 goals, 8 now is their return.
You just continue to get the feeling that it's going to come back and haunt Geelong. They've had so many opportunities and they haven't got the return they deserve. And Carlton continue to stay in touch.
7-8 to 5-5. Good work there by Gardner. Setting up Burns. And they'll take their chance this time. Happy birthday, Shannon Burns. 23 today and celebrates by putting Geelong 21 points clear.
And that was just simple punishment for a turnover. Kicking out from goal, looking for the big bloke in Cameron Cloak. The kick didn't have enough on it. And Shannon Burns just picked it up and slotted it back through. Great work from Charlie Gardner to put his body on the line, probably knowing he's going to get crunched by a ruckman. But he went up with one intention, that was to spoil the ball, and Burns finished off the good work.
Still some work to be done by the Blues hierarchy about the forward line. They're actually just really delivering what Geelong want. They want the long ball in because they've got the numbers back.
Bartel for Ablett. Nathan can have a 5th shot at goal in this first half. It has been impressive.
Cameron Cloak coming off for a spell and Kane Ackland on for the Blues. Nathan Ablett, every game you see him play now, he just looks more and more comfortable.
His season return thus far is 5 goals, 5 from just inside the 50. He gets his way into the positive. 3 first half goals for Nathan Ablett. All hands on deck now for the Blues. They're 27 points adrift.
He just looks a great footballer, doesn't he, Jared? No sooner have I said they weren't getting a return, they kicked 2 goals in a minute and open up that breathing space that they probably deserve again. It started with Mark Blake, who got a good hit out in the middle.
Yeah, their midfield clearances have been superb, and this forward line looks really dangerous. If the midfield resistance from Carlton drops off another couple of percent, this game may be very close to looming as over by half-time. There's 7 minutes of hard work to do for the Blues to hold on because the Cats are right on the verge.
That hit-out count you mentioned, Jason, now running 19 to 3 in favour of Geelong.
Yep, that's huge.
There it is again.
20 to 3.
Bartel for Prismal. Free kick for a hold. It's coming back and will go Geelong's way. Play on the call, Gary Ablett. Darted clear to the wing, delivers to his brother. Nathan couldn't quite trap it. Play on is the call. Walker loops it over the top for Gibbs. Did well not to go to the footy and crowd things there. Saw that his team was going to prize it clear and we'll get a throw in.
Just in the ruck taps, Jason, you've got two smallish ruckmen up against a very tall ruckman. On the back of last week where they won everything, Carlton, I still think they're trying to win rather than now neutralise.
Read the opposition, man up at the stoppages rather than play your own setup. Because eventually, if you're getting dominated 20-3, it's going to tell a pretty severe story on the scoreboard.
Stevens was being held by Ling. 27 points the margin as Lappin marks on the wing. Plenty of rotations. Kennedy replacing Wiggins. Lappin, the veteran of this Blues team now. Again, the bomb long for Vola. Flying for plenty. Unable to hang on as Ottens feeds Bartel. Gee, that's dangerous. They'll get away, will they? Enright back for Bartel. He ducked his head. He was caught. He was caught high. Favola says he ducked.
Oh, he's stiff. He's stiff there, Fed. That should be play on. And if he doesn't get rid of the ball, it should then be holding the ball. Exactly.
Got a good game, Bartel, though. Good luck to him.
Going to go short for Enright. It has travelled the required 15 metres. Let's check in with Lee Colbert.
Geelong's defence is evolving around Darren Milburn at the moment. They've got to make him play as a defender, the Carlton forwards. At the moment, he's isolating and all his experience is coming out. He's getting plenty of the ball across half-back.
Here he is on cue. This will be his 16th disposal.
Yeah, he's working brilliantly, as Lee has said, with Matthew Scarlett. Letting him run up the ground, then he takes Favola.
Little 9-iron to the wing, hoping Ottens can get there. Carlton with numbers. Walker's hurried kick, need a favourable bounce. Favola just deftly knocking it on to Bentic, but going without it. And Geelong are off to the races. Selwood to Chapman, the overlap. Josh Hunt
well done.
Down the middle for Mooney.
Jeez, it's a bullet. It was a rocket, that football.
And again, the stark difference between the two forward lines. Instead of kicking to 5 or 6 pairs contesting, it was just Cameron Mooney deep. Everyone else had pushed up. He doubled back to the goal square, and just as his opponent, Waite, went back with him, he then pushed past, came forward, and it was a terrific pass. He nearly spilt.
Mooney for his second this quarter. Geelong are kicking clear now. They've kicked 4 goals to 1 in the last 11 minutes, and they're out by 33 points.
11 marks to none in the forward 50, Jason. It says it all. They've had 130 bombs down into the Carlton forward line, and it's not working. They've just got to change it round, and they're getting a great example of why at the other end of the ground.
Yeah, it's almost like they need to push a couple of their half forwards up to see if they can drag some of those players out of the back 6 of Geelong, because they're so comfortable together.
Jared Waite has now pushed to centre half forward, trying to change it up. Worked for them last week.
But the problem is now they've got a 7-man forward line, Carl, which means there's 7 defenders down there.
Just what Fev wants.
I mean, Dennis Pagan's always liked contested footy. He doesn't like to see loose men running around in the opposition's defensive 6 or 7, but on this occasion it's just compounding the problem. That's having a crowded attacking 50.
And a frustrated Favola with just 3 kicks and goalless thus far. 5 minutes from half-time. How will the Blues respond? Simpson head over the footy. Stevens a little socker to centre half forward. Charging off the line. Josh Hunt, the late call up for David Johnson, for Gardner. Going out wide, and here's Bartel. Happy to be patient in the middle of direction.
Selwood. Have a look at the loose player, Prisnell in the attacking 50.
Selwood has spied him, goes to him.
Well done, Scotland.
Prisnell had to wait a long time, and Scotland was there to spoil. Chapman runs onto it, gets a hurried kick away to the pocket. O'Halpin, good spoil, boundary thrower.
Well, Bomber Thompson, he promised some exciting footy. Well, his side's delivering right now. They are playing electrifying stuff, and I think Geelong fans will drive down the Geelong Road, well, this stage anyhow, a lot more excited than they did last week.
33 points is their lead. Unbeaten in 5 previous starts at this ground against Carlton. Ball squirts wide. Scotland there first. Caught by Gardner. Thornton weaving his way, finding an opening, going to Walker, who's had plenty of it in this first half. He's got Eddie Betts.
He's just come back on the ground, Eddie Betts, replacing Matthew Lappin, who's only had the 3 touches, really struggling tonight.
And Betts with just 3 touches his third. It was a short ball for Ackland on the wing. Oh, their entry to the half-forward line has been poor. The pressure, though, from the forwards there was good. But Radzinski arches the back.
Sensational.
He could be at stall on Monday. And could be a challenger. He's quick. The long ball, O'Halpin is met high. Must be a free. It is. Advantage play on Whitnell. Oh, Lance a little unsure. Thornton. Now Scotland.
Blues fans starting to get a little bit frustrated with the way they're moving the football.
And a big crowd, more than 40,000 on hand here at the Dome. The Army has gathered as Carazzo goes short. Fisher. Got to get one more.
And again, you've got a couple of loose players. Corey Enright dropping into the hole. Brad Ottens, who's playing in the rucks, playing a kick behind, playing in defence.
We've got Josh Kennedy now deep, so Fev's had to push up the ground. And this is the problem. It also drags Scarlett up, and on the rebound is as good as there is in the comp.
But what must be frustrating for Dennis Pagan is whilst Geelong have got extra numbers down back, in the transition they're still finding loose players through the corridor. And where are all the Carlton players?
Plenty of hand passes here from Geelong. Work themselves in and then out of trouble. And Ling's kick is good to the outer wing, and they're happy just to settle things down. Mackie going short.
Again, trying to work it into the corridor and finding loose players by foot Geelong.
They give the appearance of a very well-drilled team here, the Cats.
Now, this is one of the first times they've actually had to hold it up because it's Carlton's turn to get numbers back in the defensive 50.
Lance Whitnell now on Tom Hawkins.
2 minutes left first half. Geelong by 33 points. Mackie has to get it on. The mark was paid there. They moved on quickly regardless for Mooney, too far out to score. Indicates he's going to go long. Turns it over. Scotland. Now can Carlton get some run on the rebound?
Still a good lead by Tom Hawkins. It was actually just a poor kick.
Yeah, straight over his head.
Carazzo. Momentary lull. Betts. Long ball. Again long. Stevens in a wrestle with Ling.
He's been great, Cameron Ling.
Scarlett providing some run from half-back tonight. Receives from Corey. Runs a long way. Back for Joel Corey. Working our way towards the final minute of the first half. Ackland, O'Halpin.
It's a great story, Satana O'Halpin. He is doing things beyond his years, and he's from Ireland.
Walker.
Oh, look out.
Good Shepherd. Kennedy ran a long way just to push Varco off. And finally, Favola had some space in front of him. The kick was good, and Fev can line up his first goal of the night and a badly needed one for the Blues on the stroke of half-time.
Absolutely. The first time he's been able to find a channel of space up the middle of the ground. The long kick coming in was a beauty. What Fev has to do, just for Carlton's sake here, is kick a steadier to give them something heading into half-time.
Cats have got the last three. Distance should be no problems. Close.
Touched the post, didn't it?
It was that close. Another behind. And that could be it by way of the scoring for the first half, barring a calamity here for Geelong. Milburn goes short for Joel Corey, and that's half-time. Fox Sports AFL live and exclusive on this Saturday night from the Telstra Dome. A frustrating first half for the Fev, and the Blues spot Tom Hawkins and Geelong a 32-point lead.
Well, very impressed by Geelong. They were disappointing last week. They ran into a very good side in the Western Bulldogs. You've got to like the way they've run the ball out of defence, moved the ball very quickly. They've been terrific at the stoppages. The ruckmen are dominating. Blake and Ottens giving the midfielders first use of the ball and finding plenty of space as they go forward.
Yeah, I think that they'd be thrilled, Bomber Thompson, just by the intensity at the footy. Their clearance work has been first class, and they will be looking forward to an exciting second half.
Tom Harley coming up with Jason Dunstall. Cats by 32 points at half-time.
The unbelievable limited edition Rip Curl Falcon XR Ute comes with over $2,700 of extra value, including 18-inch alloys, Rip Curl badge waterproof seat covers, 6-disc sound system, and Momo steering wheel, plus the chance to win a Rip Curl surf trip.
Jono, what?
For you and a mate.
What are you doing? Can't a bloke do a favour for a mate?
You just have to decide which mate to take.
Watch the ball. Here we go.
Oh, well done.
Hi,
Can I help you?
I'm Michael. From Dial-A-Dad.
But I'm his dad.
Spending too much time on your painting projects? Just come to Mitre 10 for expert advice with paint, accessories and project planners. Mitre 10, all the help you need.
Now on DVD, meet the new Bond. Harder, faster, and more explosive than ever.
Is the man deranged?
Daniel Craig is 007.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
Casino Royale. Rent or buy it on DVD now.
You can now vote for the 5th Annual Astra Awards. Vote for your favourite subscription TV stars and programs and go into the draw to win a trip for two to this year's Astra Awards or a LCD flat screen TV. It's your choice. Go to channel 222 and press the red button to vote or go online at astraawards.com. The 5th Annual Astra Awards. Voting closes April 18. Driven by Holden Astra.
Monday nights on Fox Sports. Clinton Grivers presents an action-packed hour of highlights from the latest round of the AFL Premiership. The winners. 7:30 Monday nights on Fox Sports 1.
If you like it live and loud, there's no better place to be than Fox Sports this April. AFL Season 2007 takes flight. Uninterrupted siren-to-siren action. 4 live games a week, plus replays and highlights.
He got it! What a grab!
Cricket. The World Cup reaches its crescendo with the Super 8s, semi-finals and final, all live on Fox Sports.
This is unbelievable.
Football. Adelaide and Sydney carry the Aussie flag in the Asian Champions League. And the English Premier League heads towards the pointy end. The battles heat up at both ends of the table.
Brilliant! Absolutely magnificent!
Rugby League. If it's NRL, it's on Fox Sports. Comprehensive coverage of every match from kick-off Friday on Late Night League to the final whistle on live Monday Night Football. Plus Super 14, tennis, golf and a whole lot more. 3 channels bringing you the best in live sport. April, Fox Sports.
Fox Sports bringing you live AFL action here at the Telstra Dome, and the Cats doing it in fine style in the first half. They lead by 32 points. Nathan Ablett with 3, Cameron Mooney 2, Brad Fisher the only multiple goal scorer for the Blues with 2. And it has been a very impressive first half from the Cats, who, Jared, I think have put to rest the doubts that a lot of people had after last week, which looked very much like 206. All of a sudden, this is what was promised, a fast, free-flowing, attacking brand of football.
Live and lively, Jason. I think what we're seeing here is a determined Geelong outfit that are going down the corridor. They're pushing back hard. Their work rate's superb. They're winning the contested ball. And their coach right now, I think, would be struggling to find any negatives, because it's just been a great half of footy, because I think Carlton were playing sensationally early in the match.
Yeah, Geelong have been fantastic. Plenty of positives. One of those is David Wojcinski. What about the match he's played? Running out of defence, pushing forward, distributing the ball. His run has been super.
Well, he was one of the game breakers. As I said, I thought Carlton were fairly impressive, except for that final kick into the forward line early in the match, and yet he continued just to break them apart. And, he's a guy who's rebounding off a pretty average year last year, so we wish him all the best with injury, because he's just what you want at the footy. You come to see guys as exciting as him.
Well, they've been criticised at times for having a lack of pace. No such deal with David Wojcinski. He has done everything. He's prepared to take them on. He'll run around opponents, and he opens up his vision. He brings other players into the game with his running, just creates space further afield. He is probably the best man on the ground at halftime. Another bloke that we absolutely love, one of the characters of the game, is the big fellow down forward for Geelong, Cameron Mooney. He was benched in the first quarter, didn't touch it, but came back into his own in the second quarter, kicked a couple and set one up.
Yeah, he was one of the hardest things in footy, I think, is to have a poor quarter and then to rebound, because you've got to deal with all the pent-up frustrations and the emotions. But as you said, not only did he kick them, he created them. And that one, I reckon Brett Otten's got to love, because he just needed one to get himself right again. And this is the difference between the clubs. They're going through the middle and finding targets inside the forward 50. Geelong are going, Carlton are going down as if Snake Baker's playing. Long bombs to Snake went out many years ago.
4 or 5 touches that last grab for Cameron Mooney, but finally got the job done. We didn't have to wait long to see Tom Hawkins. He has been much talked about, a high draft pick. He mightn't be on the scoreboard yet, but he certainly made his presence felt.
Yes, he's in the hearts and minds already, Geelong people, because he just looks the deal, doesn't he? I mean, you could make parallels with a young Tony Lockett, etc. But some of the queries where he wasn't athletic enough. Well, you look at on exposed form, he just looks a very athletic young man who's got the world at his feet. And exciting to have 4 forwards come into the competition, because they also are what make us want to go to the footy.
Certainly looks like he's got a great set of hands too. Well, one man who did a little bit of work that was badly needed by Carlton in the second quarter was Brad Fisher. They were struggling for goals, bombing it into the forward line, and on this occasion it was another bomb, but he managed to be the smart one that stayed down.
Yeah, and Brendan Favola wasn't in that contest. He'd taken Matthew Scarlett away. And Matthew Scarlett is, with Darren Milburn, I think, been so pivotal in their defence. They've worked incredibly well together. But that time it wasn't to be, and I know you were pretty upset with that decision, Jason, because he was decapitated and he had nowhere to go.
Now, I loved you absolutely love your 1%ers, Jared, and I know you wanted to talk about Waite, the fantastic smother Jared Waite performed.
Well, I think some of the difference between the good backs and the bad and the average backs and the great ones are those who will leave their own men and impact on a contest down the track. I reckon Dustin Fletcher does this as well as anybody. Jared Waite's man is about 30 metres behind him. He read the ball beautifully and he got there just in time to do that smother and withheld a Geelong attack.
And that was Cameron Mooney that he actually got hold of early on, which resulted in him going to the bench, and certainly did some great work, Jared Waite. Well, we saw Tom Hawkins. He's come out and had a couple of marks. Travis Varco is another first gamer for the Cats. And whilst he missed an early opportunity, he made the most of it very quickly thereafter.
Yeah, he was. He just looks a natural in front of goals. And, you know, when you look at this Geelong lineup, they've got 3 or 4 really young players and half a dozen others that are only in their second and third year. There's a lot to like about where Geelong are heading at the moment. You wouldn't know it with the publicity, but there's a lot to like about where the Cats are heading.
32 points the margin. I wouldn't write the Blues off just yet if they can get some sort of system going forward. No reason why they can't bounce back into this clash. We'll hopefully catch up with Geelong skipper Tom Harley on the other side of the break. It's AFL Live on Fox Sports.
We can computer colour match just about anything. Probably the weirdest thing I've had to colour match is a piece of the Harbour Bridge pylon. I got it really close actually. The guy was really happy about it. I don't know if he wanted his house to look like the Harbour Bridge.
8 litre Dulux wash and wear, $99. Brushwood screening, $24.99. Charcoal kettle barbecue, $189. Storage box, $8.98. If you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
People appreciate what you're doing.
Bunnings Warehouse! Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Most would agree, bigger returns from your investment portfolio require higher risk. To illustrate, if this was your investment, you'd expect to take a risk relative to your eventual return. However, using its investment banking expertise, Macquarie has created a range of innovative new investment products that, for the same level of risk, can deliver a bigger return. Talk to your financial advisor or ask Macquarie how to get bigger returns from your portfolio without added risk.
Macquarie, forward thinking.
For the people who know us, it's Hospitality. We do great steaks and the meals are huge. Famous prime rib quality, with the light options always available. Fast and friendly with real value for money. That's Hog's Breath Cafe's Hospitality. It's all about you.
G'day, Clarkie here. Want to join the Fox Sports Rugby commentary team? Show us what you've got. Go to tuisnew.com.au, hit the Your Shout link, watch the clip, then record your demo.
Classic rugby.
Enter by yourself or team up with a mate. And if your entry grabs the attention of the Fox commentary team, you could be calling a Bledisloe Cup match live from Melbourne. Tui's New will also fly you to the game and put you up in a hotel.
Is that the best thing you've seen in 1,000 years? The best try in world rugby ever.
Enter now at tuisnew.com.au.
Get your original Aussie Rules club song on your mobile. SMS footy to 194888. Get your footy team ringtone on your mobile. SMS footy to 194888.
Get mobile active.
Monday night at 8:30, catch Inside Cricket. Hosts Brendan Julian, Alan Border and guests deliver their uncompromised opinions on the world of cricket.
We were galvanised as a group and very determined, and that everyone stepped up.
For breaking big stories, the big names, and the inside line on everything from the domestic and international scenes. Australian cricket's most credible hour. Monday night at 8:30, Inside Cricket, Fox Sports 2.
One day, we might be on TV. We might be on television. We might be on TV. Oh no, but so then let's just bounce around. Let's just bounce around. Let's just bounce around.
Live round 2 AFL action at the Telstra Dome. Live and exclusive on Fox Sports. 32 points is the margin at halftime. The Cats are doing it very, very well. One man that would love to be sharing in the action, unfortunately, is injured with a ruptured finger tendon. I'm talking about Cat skipper Tom Harley. He's down boundary side with Lee Colbert.
Tom, unfortunately missing today, but the captain's curse has come back down at Geelong.
I've heard plenty about the captain's curse the last couple of days, Colby, but unfortunately not much I can do about it, and just bide my time for about 5 or 6 weeks, and really look forward to getting back out when the time comes.
And what's actually the injury? What have you done?
Yeah, it was a tendon injury, basically on the little finger. I think I caught it in one of the jumpers probably about 5 or 10 minutes from the start of the game last week, and just had to have it done. Unfortunately, the surgeon didn't really give me much option, and went under the knife on Monday lunchtime, and been in a fair bit of pain the last couple of days. They really do hurt, but you know, it's going well now, and looking forward to, I guess, a good start of the year for the rest of the boys.
And the form till half-time has been terrific. Darren Milburn and Matthew Scarlett especially starting the way down back.
Yeah, they have. They've, I mean, they're two of our really top-line quality players, and they've been waxing a little bit. I think if we could just maybe, you know, kick a little bit straighter. It seems like we've got a lot of momentum going forward, and it'd be nice to be a little further up. But in saying that, we're, you know, 5 or 6 goals, and if we can keep that going, it's going to be a solid night for us.
And both of them taking big hangs too, mate.
It's unusual for Dasher to get up there, but, you know, he enjoys it. And Dasher, he's really enjoying his footy. He's the oldest guy at the club now. He's just turned 30, and you know, he's a real leader, and obviously enjoying what he's doing. And Scarlow's a quality player, and it's a great match-up on Fev. And
David Johnson missing tonight. What was the reason for that?
Yeah, Dave hurt his shoulder last week and didn't take any further part last week. And line ball decision. He trained yesterday, and I think got the tackle bags out and probably erred on the side of caution, which is good. And, you know, it's given a couple of first gamers ago in Varco and Hawkins, and they looked the part, so it's, you know, it's a positive sign.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Varco, Hawkins, and also Joel Selwood played his first game last week.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot's been said about Hawkins being a father-son, and he's just got really great hands. It looks like he's going to be a quality player. And we saw Joel through the NAB Cup, and last week he's the same sort of boat. And I guess Travers is the one that sort of swept under everyone's guard a bit. He was a high draft pick last year as a 17-year-old. He's 18 now, and he's you know, kicked a goal with his first kick, which is a great start.
It is indeed. All the best, Tommy, and back to you, boys.
Good on you, Colby. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, Tom Harley would love to be in the action. Hopefully it won't be too long before he is back in the Geelong jumper. We've sung the praises of Geelong. Jared Healy, what can Carlton do to bounce back in the second half, trailing by 32 points?
Well, I think just basically they've got to get the final kick into the top 50 sorted out, Jason. Tactically, they're not, I guess, helping themselves. They're not covering off that extra man that they've put back down there. And they've got to get smarter decisions through the midfield, because it is absolutely killing them. Bryce Gibbs has been there positive. I think his form across the back line with Jared Wade, I think, has been pretty good. But continuing to fall into that trap, I think, is just frustrating everybody out in the ground. And maybe even put a Nick Stevens to full forward, because he's getting killed in the middle of the ground, and I think you could expose Cameron Ling's defence there.
Well, that would be a radical move. Can they regather at half-time and come out and make some sort of charge in the second half? We'll find out after the break.
very good golf equipment on the market at the moment. Shay Bonnie, you've written to us saying that you've bought one of those new big-headed drivers. You're hitting it quite nicely, but you'd like a few extra metres. Well, there's no secret to that. Everyone would like a few extra metres. But what you really need to do is look at the club itself. And the ball flight you're getting off that club. Now, if it's a ball flight that's climbing up into the air, that will mean that the shaft you've got in there is a little bit too soft for you in combination with the loft on the club. So it's putting too much spin on the ball, losing you distance. On the other side of things, if the ball's flying out quite high to start with and then falling out of the sky, it will mean that the shaft is a little bit too strong in combination with the loft on the club. Now, the club head speed's got a little bit to do with that as well. What you're looking for is an ideal spin rate on the ball, so it just keeps moving out into the distance. That will get you your maximum yardages. So what I'm looking for with the driver, something out there, for my club head speed, around about 12, 13 degrees trajectory to start with, and then keep it flying high into the sky. So have a closer look at your equipment. It may pick you up that yardage you need. Shay, congratulations on your new driver, but just have a look at the trajectory of the golf ball when you hit it. That may help you.
Score points with your family. Go home. Fly Pacific Blue to New Zealand and the Pacific Islands. And right now you can fly from just $249. Book now at flypacificblue.com.
Easter Sunday on Fox Sports. The Kangaroos want to bounce back after a dramatic defeat at the G, but Port found the power to win in the West and want to do it all again. 1 o'clock at 8. Are you kidding me? And at 5, it's Twilight Footy, live and active, as the Doggies chase win number 2 against a Crow side, looking to avenge last weekend's shock loss. It's great footy. Sunday AFL, Port Adelaide and the Kangaroos at 1, and Western Bulldogs Adelaide at 5, all live on Fox Sports 1.
This Easter Sunday, there's a lion in the sand at Manly, and the Warriors are flying in to cross it. Kick off your Arvo action at 1:30 with the pre-game show. Then buckle up. The Sea Eagles and the Kiwis are live from 2. And the fans go crazy at Brookline. And if that's not enough, the Golden Point Panthers take it to the Titans. Can the Coast run down the Big Cats? Well, it doesn't get any better than that. Easter Sunday, you know it's for footy on Fox Sports.
English Championship Football, one of Europe's most hard-fought leagues. It's a do-or-die dogfight with 24 teams all vying for their shot at the big time. Brilliant goal! Southampton plays Sunderland, 2 a.m. Tuesday, live and exclusive Fox Sports 2.
Press red now for Fox Sports News Active Sports News 24/7.
Saturday night football under the closed roof of the Telstra Dome. Conor Grimes, Jason Dunstall, Gerard Healy and Lee Colbert on hand as we get set for the second half of this one. The Cats by 32 points over an angry Nick Stevens and Carlton 10-8 to 5-6 our scoreline. Lee has news for us. Lee.
Yes, Nick Stevens been tagged by Cameron Ling for the whole quarter or the whole first half, so very important for Steve-O to get into the game this half and also make sure someone plays on Darren Milburn, please.
He's had plenty of it. 17 touches, Corey 17 possessions, Bartel 16, Wojcinski, Scarlett 15 apiece. So this Cats team, who we told us about pre-game, a very committed, focused outfit, one of those line in the sand sort of games for Geelong. Even this early in the season, they were going to be under some pressure into a meeting with Melbourne next week had they lost this match, and so far they've responded.
Yeah, so much going right for the Cats. We shouldn't dismiss a couple of efforts on the blue side. Heath Scotland's picked up 20 touches in the first half, and you've got to like the game Ryan Houlihan's played. He's picked up 16, but most of the time he has been responsible for Gary Ablett, who has just 9 possessions and 1 goal to his name. Bryce Gibbs looking very comfortable across half-back. He has 13 possessions and has continually rebounded out of defence. Certainly one of the big positives for the Blues here.
Yeah, they haven't been a lot. They do need a stellar second half from their skipper. I think if they can get that out of this match, even if they did happen to go down, then that would be a positive. But there's been a lot of turnarounds in the football so far this season. Even the Blues last week were the best part of 5 goals down. So they will still give themselves a real chance to get back into this game, but they've got some work to do, and it starts, I guess, at centre clearances and the contested footy.
The hit-outs were 22-3 Geelong's way in the first half. Ottens will be starting on the bench for the Cats.
I was about to say exactly the same thing, Clinton. The hit-outs continue to mount. We saw Cameron Cloke have 7 possessions in the first quarter, playing kick behind play. He's now only had 8 for the match. He's only got the 2 hit-outs. Ackland's had no impact, 3 possessions, 1 hit-out. They've got to do something to stymie the influence of Blake and Ottens.
Well, Sydney won the hit-outs earlier today, 52-16 against the Tigers. Engineering net victory. Blues to the right, Cats to the left. We're underway in the second half with way to the Blues. They've got to get the first one. Enright of Geelong charging through, and Milburn, who saw a stack of it in the first half, driving it long. They've got Ablett, they've got Mooney down there. Whitnell providing the fist. Scotland caught. Thornton's handball stolen by Gary Ablett, wrapped up by Walker. Stands up in the tackle. Nathan Ablett for Bartel, for Mooney, for a dream start for Geelong. Cam Mooney's excited. He's got his third. And then now 38 points to the good.
Well, that was the last thing that the Blues needed. They virtually needed to kick the first goal to have any hope of getting back into this match. Once it blows out to 38 and Geelong pick up the early momentum where they left off, it's going to be very, very difficult now for the Blues. Not a great sign that Lance Whitnell, who we saw swung forward, is back in defence. He's only had the 2 kicks for the match. But that's not a great sign for the Blues, so it's hard to see where the spark's going to come from.
Well, the one thing they've got to do, the Blues, is just not worry about their man tapping the ball. Last week it was a luxury. This time they have to have all defence.
Carazzo feeding Houlihan. Towards centre-half forward for Vola in front. At the back is Wiggins. Right at the edge of his range at 55. He pops it to the square. This is Fisher from the side, and Geelong's Egan from the opposite direction. Read it very well. Wojcinski's got Blake on the outer wing. Now, running for him, Ling short. He elects to go to the centre corridor. Selwood's got Burns. For Ling, 55 out. Oh, that's a poor kick from the acting captain. Now, is that socket out of bounds on the full? The boundary umpire was 50 metres away. He's still a long way away. We do need 4 of them. Finally, he arrives. We'll get a throw in.
I reckon Shannon Burns gave that hand pass to Cameron Ling just to reward him for the run that he'd done, but it probably wasn't the right idea. That's out in the full against Brad Ottens there.
We've got
Clearly.
to get 4 boundary umpires. He was so, it's not his fault. He just can't cover that much ground that quickly. Good replay from the boys in the truck as Burns sends it forward. Here's Whitnell. Oh, he stopped, waited a bit, put Walker under pressure. Burns trapped it very well. Gets it back from Chapman. He's a lefty as Burns, and the kick lets him down.
Gee, that's a shame. That would nearly have been play of the night if that happens. But you wonder what's going through the head of Lance Whitnell. He is normally such a composed player. He's one of the best readers of the play in the game. He's smart. He uses the football well. He's just out of sorts, unfortunately, similar to last week.
Stevens short, Scotland. Favola pushing hard, defensive side of the wing.
And don't think Matty Scarlett wouldn't be happy seeing Fev leading to the ball between wing and half-back. Haven't you done your job well?
He would be thrilled with all of that. But Carlton have to, and Fev has to change the role, because with Fev in the goal square, they were getting belted.
Gary Ablett getting away from Cameron Cloke.
Oh, great kick.
Gee, the brothers, there's that little intuition. Cam Mooney is going to kick his 4th goal. They are well on top now.
Put down your glasses. That was just a fantastic passage of play. Gary Ablett, one of the few players in the competition, or one of the smart players in the competition, that can actually reassess what he's going to do with the football at the last moment. You'll get a good view of him here. He looks like he's going to kick down the line and just uses the outside of the boot to steer it back into the corridor to his brother. Loves kicking it to his brother Nathan. And Nathan just palms it off to Cameron Mooney, who's running into an open goal, and he's now got 4 to his name.
He kicked 3 last week, so it's been a terrific start to the season for the fiery cat.
And I think we should pay credit to this bloke, Blake. He is absolutely dominating those ruck taps. That time, in fact, the last 2 times, Carlton have taken it away. So the challenge for Blake is to hit targets.
Josh Hunt feeding Joel Corey on half-back.
It's a rebound out of defence for Geelong. It's been a very high-quality match from their defenders.
81 plays 36. A couple of first-gamers, Hawkins and Varco, waiting their turn in this second half.
Better stuff from Cameron Cloke there. He's got to use his body to keep the big man's arms away from the ball.
And you mentioned Tom Hawkins there. The margin's nearly at the right level now, where you just say, let's play out Brad Ottens just as a ruckman, alternate him and Blake off the bench, and leave Tom Hawkins out there for the rest of the match just to soak up the experience.
Yep.
Carlton's 4th hit out of the night from Carazzo after a poor bounce. Gary Ablett, little toe poke towards the midfield. Carazzo gives it up. Wojcinski away, and he could go all the way. He could go all the way. 3 bounces, lines it up. They're on fire. They've got the last 6 goals now, bracketing half-time. This is what the Geelong fans wanted. The margin is beyond half a century.
Yeah, and once again, Gary Ablett involved. I'm not sure what his how many times it's been in a row, but the last 2 goals he certainly played a hand in. And, well, David Wojcinski, he got him firing up and flying off halfback at the start of the match, and he's continuing to do it. And right now, shellacking looks as if is going to result.
Clearly best man on the ground for mine, David Wojcinski, and Gary Ablett, that is 3 early touches in the 3rd quarter.
Bartel, quick hands. Wiggins, giving away a free. Gary Ablett's got it.
Make that 4.
How quickly fortunes can turn in the world of the AFL. All that momentum that Carlton, this ball's coming back, by the way, brought into this game has been snuffed out, and suddenly things looking so promising for Geelong, with a couple of players waiting in the wings, including Steve Johnson, who kicked 5 goals, 5 in the VFL today as the Cats lost to Sandringham.
Little huddle formed 20 metres in front of the mark, opening up the space behind.
Fence pushback.
Nathan Ablett. It's raining goals at the Dome for Geelong now. Nathan Ablett with number 4. How good do they look?
Well, the forward line, Jason, has got as many options and talented players in it as any combination in the competition at the present time, and they're all big-bodied men, with the exception of probably Gary Ablett Jr.
I'll tell you what, Nathan Ablett, very comfortable at ground level, very comfortable on the left boot, and that forward line all of a sudden has a potency about it.
4 each to Ablett and Mooney.
Ottens into the ruck, Tom Hawkins back onto the ground.
Blake got first touch, but it's ineffective. There is a tidal wave of Geelong uniforms heading to the football. Chapman,
good vision
for Josh Hunt. He can play on and goal. He thinks about it. He will now go back.
Well, you have to ask the question, if this level of resistance continues from Carlton, how many goals are Geelong going to kick in this quarter?
They are just enjoying themselves at the moment, the Cats. They've got the run on they're looking for, and all players starting to get involved.
Do you push the numbers back, Jason? Do you worry about percentages at this stage? I mean, the match is gone.
Hunt from 45 makes it 5 goals in 8 minutes in this 3rd quarter.
Well, it's an interesting point of discussion, Jared. Dennis Pagan would be absolutely furious in the coach's box. Now he's thinking, well, we're copping a hammering here. Our percentage is going to take a belting after we kicked off the season with a win last week. Does he throw numbers behind and just turn it into an ugly last quarter and a half? What sort of message does that send to the Carlton supporters?
Well, I think you've just got to send them back. You just can't get flogged like this. Something's got to change.
Josh Hunt delighted. The Cats defenders have won more than their share of the footy this evening. Lee Colbert.
Watching Nathan Ablett, just reminiscent of his old man. He had mannerisms there like his dad Gary. I tell you, it was just brilliant to watch.
Scramble in the middle. Boot to ball quickly for Chapman. Watch the bounce. And okay in the end for Thornton. Acrobatically pulling it in. Murphy. For Simpson and Murphy.
Well played.
Free kick Carlton. Advantage play on. Murphy bombing away though, and Geelong will have it covered. Although Milburn unable to mark. A rare mistake from him tonight. But they seem to have all the support. Scarlett brushes the tackle with disdain. Scotland running to the outer side. Awkward bouncing ball. Otten's closing. Cam Cloak back for Scotland.
Barco back onto the ground.
5 minutes of playing time chewed up here in the 3rd quarter. Waiting at the back, Milburn. Good bump provided by Bartel. Enright for Corey, can go wide to the wing, does so by hand. Ottens now to Mooney on the lead.
Hasn't he come into the game after not touching it in the first term, ending up on the bench? He's now dominating.
And he delivers the ball inside 50. Hawkins on the lead, couldn't hang on. They're dominating possession by a rate of greater than 2-1 in this third term.
Well done, Walker. Working hard.
Varco sells Ling into heavy traffic. Simpson the pressure. Walker overruns it. It opens the door for Geelong. They're away again. Ablett tried to get it to Selwood. Free kick coming back to Ling, held by Simpson, no advantage.
Tom Hawkins 3 deep. Cameron Craig has to go back and fill in for Lance Whitnell.
Doesn't the free kick go where the ball...
Here he is.
Oh, Hawkins, that was a terrific lead. Good spoil by Waite. Cloak loads up the Torp, bombs it to midfield. Enright waiting there for Geelong. Recovers very well. Bartel uses Corey. He's got a loose man on Ottens. Now Chapman darting to space. Ottens sees him, but now waits. Goes to the goal square. Cam Mooney or Nathan Ablett. Chapman waiting down. They're queuing up. A matter of time, and it's Hawkins. And he hurries at the young man and misses.
He tried to kick that out of the stadium. It just needed a little bit of finesse, and he went for the brawn option, and it didn't quite work.
And if there is a kid who looks like he could kick it over the silo, I reckon it looks like Hawkins. The line through Jordan Russell on the Blues bench. It's 100-36. Last two times they've met, the Cats have kicked 22 and 23 goals in winning by 70 and 65 points.
And the footy world just starting to close in a little bit on Matthew Lappin, not having the best of starts to the season. Just 3 possessions he was taken from the ground last week. And he needs to find some footy. Got the greatest admiration for him as a player, but he's not being able to find the ball at the moment.
Well, to Fev's credit, he's at least leading up the ground. He's looking to get involved in the play, but unfortunately, Matty Scarlett's just got his number tonight.
The numbers for the quarter. Murphy, Houlihan now. Gee.
He keeps presenting, but he's just getting poor service.
He hasn't had a good one all night, has he? Oh.
But you know what? There are times in the past where Fev's body language would be dreadful. As I said, to his credit, he's got his head up, his chin up, he keeps presenting.
Good point. And the Blues extracted on this occasion. Murphy with Walker. Chapman pursuing him. Good chase. Play on the call. Murphy needs help.
Geez, their pursuit skills have been superb, Geelong. I mean, they were away there, the Blues, and yet they just dragged them down, and there were numbers coming from everywhere.
They're sensing the kill. Paul Chapman wanting a whistle. None forthcoming except for a bounce. 64 points the deficit for the Blues, who win it here with Bentinck. Handball though missed the target. Hunt slung. Then puts pressure on Carazzo. Here's Walker. 45 out on the run. Team needs a goal and Walker can't provide. Their first score of the quarter, it took 13 minutes. Shell shock, Blues fans.
Yeah, it's a sad tale of woe, the Blues, after so much promise last week. It's been almost the opposite sort of performance tonight. It just makes it so hard at the moment to read form from one week to the next with what's happening.
Tell you what, it sets up the Bulldogs and Adelaide match tomorrow on Fox Sports. Sunday Night Football as being a beauty as Scotland marks majestically alongside of Wojcinski. Plays on. Murphy delivering to half forward. Good spoil away from Kennedy by Milburn. Ottens for Enright. Loose man on the outer wing. Gary Ablett. How so, you may ask. Hands it off to Selwood. He might give it back to Ablett. Got to get it first. And he couldn't. Well done, Murphy. Pressure. Betts for Bentinck for Cloak. Delivers to Wiggins.
Good grab.
55 out. Simpson now. Drives it long. Ackland or Fisher, and Ackland. Good mark.
And I'll tell you what I like about that is the frustration of Matthew Egan. They've barely conceded anything all night, and he's furious with the fact that his opponent's taken a mark, albeit an opponent that he had to concede some height to. And at least if you've got a tall bloke playing out of the square, a ruckman in the square, kick it to him, and that's what Cade Simpson did.
7th AFL season, 3rd AFL club for the former Power and St. Kane Ackland. And he delivers a much-needed goal for the Blues. That's his first in a Carlton jumper. And the Blues get their first of the third quarter.
It's interesting the variation in what AFL clubs do physically. Most blokes, when they come off the ground after having a big run, they get with the phys editor and they go up and down the boundary line. As we take a look at this goal unfold. It's a good kick in from Cade Simpson, but it was honoured by an excellent mark. And if he can do more of that, Kane Ackland, then he's going to be a much better player. And yet when Brad Ottens came off the ground, he went straight for the chair. He was pretty tired, the big fella, but he's just got to build that fitness. And now he gets up and starts to walk the lactic acid out.
Cloak to Scotland. That's better for the Blues. Ackland coming out of the goal square, leaps. Egan at the back with the mark.
Look at the run now out of defence.
Mackie, Hunt, back to Mackie. Now Wojcinski. Playing with risks, running down the centre corridor. That was Mark Thompson's mantra this season for Geelong. It's evident here tonight as Prismal sends it wide of Hawkins and Whitnell. The Carlton captain in a rough trot. One of his few possessions this evening going for White, who had it knocked away by Corey. Nice little jewel. Corey wins a free for in the back.
That passage of play there tells the story of Carlton's night. Just making mistakes and then unfortunately doubling up and making a second mistake. Jared Waite was terrific early on down back when he played on Cam Mooney in the first quarter, but like most of his teammates, unfortunately, he's fallen by the wayside, and now Gary Ablett gets into the play again. He's had a much better third quarter after a quiet first half. 15 touches, 7 of them contested, ball one for Gary Ablett this evening. This will be his 7th possession in this quarter alone. Yep.
Halfway through the third stanza. His brother has kicked 4, so has Cam Mooney. Gary lining up for his second. And pulling it for a behind. Simpson to bring it in for the Blues, staring at a 58-point deficit. Bentick out wide.
Jason, on exposed form, we've seen Carlton at their best early in the season, and they're going to do well if they can pick up 6 to 8 wins, you would think. Stephen Kernahan, that was the benchmark. Now that you've seen this Geelong side playing top-line footy, they can't probably play too much better than this. Where would you think they can finish this season?
Well, that's the difficulty of that question, Jared, is the lack of resistance they're getting tonight. What would a good team faced with Geelong in this sort of form do? Hard to gauge. And there's a downfield free kick against Wojcinski, and he's not particularly pleased with that one.
Umpire Craig Henry coming to him. He ended up on his back, and that's the point he's making to Craig Henry. He wanted a retaliation call. The footy will end up with Kane Ackland, who can kick back-to-back goals here to generate some respectability, at least for the Blues on the scoreboard.
I'm not sure this win is diminished by Carlton as a side. I think they were playing pretty good footy coming in, and I think they've been beaten into submission rather than just falling over.
First pick in this year's pre-season draft, Ackland missing to the right-hand side. That a big let-off.
No, absolutely, and I don't want to take anything away from the way Geelong's played. It would just be interesting if they were playing another good side in good form. How would they handle it?
Do you both have Geelong in your pre-season top 8?
No, I didn't. I didn't know which Geelong was going to turn up this year, and I think that's the issue. But
I left them out.
On this exposed form, you know, clearly that's why the pressure is, because they've got the talent to burn.
Speaking of which, Gary Ablett.
He's on a flyer.
He is on a flyer indeed. One of the best to watch in the AFL when he's up and going, and he is in this third quarter. Gary Ablett with his second.
Having a great third quarter, as you said, Jason. Worked hard in the first half as well, but he is doing it all at the present time, winning his own footy and creating goals. And you can't judge Gary's game, I don't think, just by possessions alone, because it's the quality of his possessions.
Yep.
You'd love to be a full forward with him running down the ground with the ball in your hand, because you know if you've got the right position, he'll find you.
And Ryan Houlihan, who did such a good job in the first half, it's just coming unstuck, and you just can't afford to take your focus off the job at hand for a split-second. Players like Gary Ablett make you pay.
Cloak the hit out. Ablett creative. forcing it forward towards the first game of Varco. Murphy for Houlihan. Flares it out to the wing. Bounce important. Kennedy to pick up. Simpson. Dangerous. Scotland had it knocked away. Milburn. Trapped. Play on the call. Kennedy for White. Scrappy passage of play. Jared White drives the Blues deep into attack. Scarlett again the spoil on Favola will get a boundary throw.
And we just saw Kate Simpson's lack of a penetrating right foot make him poke out a handball that probably wasn't the best option rather than kicking the ball down the ground.
For a moment there he thought of taking him on until he realised it was David Wojcinski just in front of him and he thought, I don't think I can run around him.
Presnell slung, good tackle, Ackland. Bartel going to ground, loops the handball to Josh Hunt. Now Corey.
Had a big game as well.
Now
they've all had big games, but there's been some top-line performances out here by Geelong.
He was devoid of free men downfield, so that's why he was waiting. Selwood and Gary Ablett presenting eventually. Wiggins pushed off it by Corey. Chapman for Blake. He'll give it off by hand. Hunt crosses midfield. Sends it inside 50. At the back, Varco gives it off to Selwood. The future of Geelong is on display tonight. The first gamer to the second gamer. And Joel Selwood kicks the first goal and he wants to have a look at it on the replay again. He's just waiting for the director to hit play on the button as he kicks his first AFL goal.
Well, almost all three of those players involved there after the hand pass from Mark Blake releases Josh Hunt. It actually went through the fingertips of Tom Hawkins, but beautifully read by Travis Varco. Shoots out the hand pass and a cool finish.
Highly credentialed, the number 7 pick in last year's national draft. So the Cats getting the games into the youngsters early. 1:13 now versus 44. Time on third quarter. A landslide unfolding.
And all of a sudden we've got Fev. I don't know if he's just done it himself, but he's come up around the contest in the midfield.
Jason, that's something we can safely say we very rarely saw you do. Murphy sending it to the outer wing.
And wouldn't have done unless ordered and would never have been ordered to do so.
Bentic to half forward. Carriage, Milburn knocks it wide. Enright. They can effect the switch, although that's as long as Mark Thompson would have liked, but the Cats are they're colliding with one another. So enthusiastic are they tonight. Burns short, Ling. Oh, look at the loose man in the middle. He's got 3 options. Oh, he's caught again, Cameron Ling.
Well, just about to pump him up.
Yep. And Nick Stevens, they elected to take the advantage, which was a curious option. They would have had a set shot from 35 metres out. Instead, they wanted to hurry it along.
And that's not smart because the set shot was almost on the edge of the corridor and the snap ended up coming from the pocket. I was about to wrap up Cameron Ling, 16 possessions. He's kept Nick Stevens to 12, but all of a sudden he goes and makes a mistake.
Ottens on halfback.
And I think Brad Ottens has been a pretty fair player for Geelong tonight. He made a blue early in the piece. He was under pressure. He's worked hard. He's actually running as against jogging last year in between possessions.
He's up to 12 possessions and 16 hit-outs.
Yep. Good signs there for Big Brad.
It's been a 7-goal quarter by the Cats to blow this one open, and you sense there might be still more to come. Corey. Look out, Gardner. That's a high one.
It's a good clip.
And he plays on quickly to Burns. It was smart stuff. Andrew Mackie wants to join the party. From 45 metres out off a standing start to the goal square. Nathan Ablett off the ground. Varco touched. Cat fans were up.
He is like a soccer striker. He just came from nowhere and almost pulled off a miraculous goal. Now, this sport is just a cousin of a coat hanger. Nothing malicious in it, but worthy of a free kick.
The boot of O'Halpin helping rush it through.
Once again, there's been signs. I know Carlton have been beaten almost everywhere, but there have been signs again from Satana O'Halpin of the rapid improvement he's undertaken over the last 12 months.
Wiggins to the hot spot.
That's a free kick.
Well, Kennedy flew, Ackland flew. Scotland centres it. Gardner, Egan, and Geelong can dance this one away again. Bartell's got in right. He's got space. Now Nathan Ablett presents. He'll be on the end of it. Gary Ablett still running. Will his brother give it to him? No, he's going to chip it over the top for the tomahawk. Hawkins.
Now, this is almost the identical spot that he had a shot from in the first quarter, which he only narrowly missed. He'll get the journey, no problems. It's a big thumping kick. He just needs to take a few deep breaths.
Well, let's put this on replay down in the truck, and we'll get you, Jason, to take us through his kicking action technically, because this bloke's going to have many, many shots at goal, and it looks as if it's a pretty natural style.
18 years of age. From Finley via Melbourne Grammar and the Sandringham under-18 team to the big stage. Welcome to the big time, Tom Hawkins.
It's hard to imagine Bomber Thompson scripting things better for the Cats tonight. We're going to come out, we're going to play fast, exciting football. Tom Hawkins is going to get a feel for the footy, kick a goal, get involved. Travis Varco is going to kick a goal, a couple of first gamers. All our players, Brad Ottens is going to thrive in the ruck. We're going to dominate the clearances. Defenders will play well, but it's a beautiful, steady run in. And he just kicks straight through the line of the footy and launches at 55.
And that's the beauty. If you can kick those long goals comfortably, you can... I think in an era of flooding football, you can be used much more dangerously. I think you're right, though. The script for Bomber Thompson. The only thing that could ruin it is if he gets done by a camera on the way home down the Geelong Road.
And that is distinctly a possibility. There's many of them. Corey, and he'll be excited. Going long. Speaking of exciting, Gary Ablett. Can he get to another one? Oh, Farco.
He's quick.
How quick is he? He might get done. And he might be running home. Nathan Ablett now, top of the goal square, waiting for support. Hawkins gives it off. Look out, Prisball. Ducks away one, weaves by another, feeds Farco. Oh, the smiles are on the faces of the folks at Geelong now. A 9-goal quarter.
Even Bobby Davis at the end of his chair says he would be loving this.
They are absolutely queuing up to kick goals. Even the players under pressure had sense of mind just to look for a teammate. He could have snapped then. Tom Hawkins probably would have been smothered. Great awareness from Prismal of Walker closing in on him from behind. And Varco, a great snap. We've seen him attack the packs a couple of times. He is going to be a lively goal sneak before he moves into the midfield.
What about that celebration for a first gamer? Can we get a name on that? It's like Brett Lee and the chainsaw.
The difficulty now for Carlton is when things spiral downwards out of control, it's very hard to stop it. Very hard.
Fair to say the bottom has fallen out of this one. Corey. Yes. An avalanche. And it just keeps coming. O'Halpin will head for the line. And the umpire won't add to their misery by playing deliberate. 126 playing 45. It was 13 points the difference halfway through the second quarter. Late in the third, it's an annihilation. Free kick slung after disposing of it, Thornton.
But again, that's not a bad free kick to give away because it holds them up. Otherwise, they're away. All of a sudden now the Geelong forwards working back behind the ball.
It'll be paid downfield, albeit by 5 metres to Bentic.
But all the numbers as he looks up are with Geelong. Everywhere he goes, they're outnumbered.
Favola couldn't clasp it. Milburn to Burns. Paddled it straight to Bentic. Kennedy on the wing. Now, open forward line, Carlton. Walker just couldn't break the line. Enright hemmed him in well. Goes short for Ackland, who's getting a spell in the forward zone. He plays on. Walker on the run from 50, long to the goal square and then some. Good reply by Andrew Walker.
That's just a fantastic individual piece of work from Andrew Walker. He's a player that never stops trying, a wonderful athlete. He's had 19 possessions now. But he started that at half-back. He tried to have a bounce through the middle corridor, fumbled, recovered, shot a hand pass out. In actual fact, he dummied the hand pass, then delivered to Ackland. But he kept running. He just, the second and third efforts, he was rewarded. He got the hand pass back from Ackland and kicked a fantastic running goal from 50 metres.
Margin is 75 points as Walker gets his first. 1:46 to play, quarter number 3. Blake, Prismal, Chapman,
easy.
Burns, Chapman. It was like a clinic. Mooney. Ablett, explosive initial steps. O'Halpin had no chance, and Nathan Ablett can line up for goal number 5.
And as Paul Chapman was breaking out of the middle, poor old Bryce Gibbs found himself matched up with Cameron Mooney. Now, that's not the sort of matchup that suits him. The big bloke led and then delivered nicely to Nathan Ablett.
It's been one of the bonuses just for Nathan to come through in the first 2 games of the year. Last week he was one of their best, and tonight again a great contributor. You know that the man has arrived as a footballer.
Kick out to the right. Will land a metre short. Blues with numbers. Whitnell bombs it away. Geelong players there. They can just raffle it.
Well, that was frustration from Lance Whitnell. He had no one to kick to.
Mackie. Hawkins to sit. Whitnell for Houlihan. Towards the wing, and Milburn with the spoil. Scotland down to the final 30 seconds. And Wiggins diving at full stretch, marking on the wing. Walker turns it over. Could be costly. Geelong have been terrific on the rebound. Gary Ablett. Will he wheel around his man Gibbs? He might. Inside 15.
Oh, it would have been a big goal.
Oh, couldn't get the finish.
A big goal.
9 goals, 5 in this third quarter. These two clubs have been playing against each other for 110 years. Only once have Geelong had a better quarter than that against the Blues. 9-5 to 2-3. They're 76 points clear, and Gary Ablett is still not happy.
Well, underneath it all he would be, because his team is showing exactly what it is potentially going to do this season, and that is scare a hell of a lot. They've got so much strike power up forward and an outstanding defence that if Mark Blake can continue to improve and get them first supplied through the middle of the ground, they could have a very, very exciting season.
What will the final margin be? Have a competition at home. A quarter to play. It's the Cats by 76 points.
Everybody comes in and gets their paint for the long weekend over Easter to finish off the jobs that they didn't finish at Christmas, so yeah.
Wattle 5 litre decking and timber oil only $49.92. 12-piece screwdriver set $19.87. Multifold ladder $149. 24-litre air compressor $98. Roller kit just $9.98.
Look out for the latest Handyman magazine in store now.
Bunnings Warehouse. Lowest prices are just the beginning.
We're looking for our parents.
They've been spending a lot of time here.
Here? With me?
Make the most of your retirement and the changes to super. Call a Commonwealth Financial Planner today.
This is Sparta!
To celebrate the release of the new motion picture 300, Warner Brothers Pictures, Korean Air, Kamuka Worldwide and Student Flights are giving you the chance to conquer the ancient world on a 3-week overland adventure tour. Simply SMS your name and address to 197 88555 or visit tvwinners.com.au. Plus there's 50 in-season passes to win. 300 in cinemas April 5.
I still love you.
Welcome
to Monday Night Football.
Reclaim Mondays with Monday Night Football. Win one of 8 Monday makeovers that includes a maid, a chef and a handyman. Plus a Sony entertainment system, a beef-eater barbecue and a Bundy fridge from Smeg. So get off the couch and buy specially marked Bundy packs for your chance to win.
Gee, I love Mondays.
Oh, you've got to love your
To complement your weekend Super 14 feast, turn to Fox Sports Monday nights for a comprehensive roundup of all the action.
Anything could happen. What a try for the Brumbies. Danger!
Oh, goodness. Greg Clark presents highlights of every match, plus keeps you up to date with all the injury and judiciary news.
So there he goes.
Monday nights, turn to Fox Sports 2 for Super 14 Extra Time.
My team is the 2007 Billy Slater, Steve Simpson, Nathan Highmarsh.
You're never too old to start dreaming. Log on to Fox Sports right now, pick your players and share in the glory.
Dan Lockie has magic and he's a workhorse. We'll take it one game at a time.
Can you fit all these guys in your salary cap?
Yes.
I think you've been drinking too much red cordial.
You talk too much.
That is one of the best celebrations to a goal you could see anywhere, and it's coming from a young man who turns 19 next Tuesday on debut, Travis Varco. Nathan Ablett with 4, Cam Mooney with 4 goals to three-quarter time. Fisher, the only multiple goal kicker for the Blues, who are 76 points adrift entering the final term. They're 79 behind on the possession count, the bulk of them uncontested ball. The Cats with plenty of run through the midfield and 18 more entries inside the forward 50. The fact that Carlton are winning the clearance is remarkable, given that the hit-out count is 34-9. Gerard Healy spoke about Matthew Lappin during the course of that third quarter. Well, a chat with Dennis Pagan during that quarter-time break. Lappin with just 7 possessions last week and shut out here today with just 3 possessions. And a concerned look on his face as we check in at ground level with Lee Colbert.
Yes, the Cats are flying. They had a great quarter. I think the best for all time, the third quarter against the Carlton Football Club. Dennis will be hoping for just a bit of pride and actually beat the Geelong Footy Club in the last quarter on the scoreboard.
All right, Lee, thanks for that. Jason, 20 cents in, final margin will be?
Can I just say nasty? Because I would just recap on what Lee Colbert just said.
Figures.
We've knocked up singing the praises of Geelong. What we need now is to see what they can salvage out of 25 minutes of football, the Carlton Football Club. They are under siege. All the good work that we've seen over the last month or so has been undone. And are they just going to fall into the old habits? To this point in time, they have, Gerard.
Well, they have, but I think there's more to this group of players than a couple of years ago.
But
Jason,
where does the leadership come from?
Well, there is an issue. They need some of their leaders to stand up, but not every step's going to be up for this group. No. They're a rebuilding phase. They're going to have some poor ones, but they need the likes of Lappin and their captain and Heath Scotland, Edel, to really have a big last quarter, because otherwise it will be well and truly into 3 figures. Nick Stevens was the other bloke I was trying to think of.
Just 12 touches to three-quarter time after that explosive 30-possession game against the Tigers. For Vola has been held goalless, but as we said, the service has been poor.
Interesting, Matty Lappin's one player that you focused on, Gerard. He has been stiff. Look, he hasn't spent a lot of time on the ground. Now, he's an experienced player. He's had just the 3 possessions. Yeah. You've got to think he's done something wrong or upset the coach's box to spend that much time on the bench.
Well, just looking at him, he's a great sweeper. He plays well when he's playing as a high half forward or a wingman, and he can read the ball and push down into defence. If he's asked to play in a one-on-one position or take a bloke deep in defence, he can be exposed for pace. The quickest fibres in his body are between his ears, and he's got to be able to use that, and it's going to be difficult for him if he's asked to play in a one-on-one type of role where he can be run around by a quicker opponent.
Final quarter action.
Obviously, Clinton still needs to be accountable, but he's got to be able to play to his strengths as well.
Fox Sports AFL Saturday Night Football with you, and 41,113 others here at the Telstra Dome as Ottens goes in to effect a second bounce in the middle.
And already Carlton starting with a loose man in defence. Andrew Walker just on the defensive side of the contest.
Otten's palming it down. Houlihan read it well. Feeds Scotland, who's coming up for his 30th disposal. And it's for Fowler on the lead. It couldn't stick. Wiggins caught. Good tackle. Josh Hunt breaking through. Had it knocked away. Murphy for Wiggins with Lappin calling for it. He gets it. Tried to loop it over the top to Caruso, but Wojcinski was in the way. Gives it to Mackie, now Ottens. And Gary Ablett's finding space on the wing. Kicks over his head. 2 on 3, the Blues. Scotland does well. Drops it to Lappin. Now Walker going without it. Houlihan helps him out. Lappin turns it over. Ablett takes off.
Space.
Oh, that must have hurt. He's landed on the footy, Nathan Ablett, but straight up.
And Thornton brings him over the line for a boundary throw-in. Sounds like you're speaking from experience there, Jason.
Oh, I thought that was a classic case of landing on the footy, winding yourself, or right on the family jewels. Have a look at this. Desperation, eyes on the footy. Oh, he's landed and bounced on it, but straight up to his feet. Fantastic effort.
Cats in attack. Otten's down for Nathan Ablett. Quick little handball to Selwood. To the top of the square.
Yeah,
Mooney, is he being held? He's being held and he takes it anyway. Cam Mooney is going to get his 5th goal.
Now, he paid the free kick, the umpire, but I'm a firm believer in the fact that if he takes the mark anyway, he should be credited with the mark as the statistic and not the free kick.
I would agree with you. That's one for the statifiers. Mooney. Number 5.
Well, we talk about the development of players and the maturity of players. Here's a guy that at times in years gone by has been widely criticised for losing the plot, for letting his emotions get the better of him. He got benched in the first quarter. He didn't touch it. Chances are in perhaps only 2 or 3 seasons ago he'd go headhunting.
Yeah.
He bounces back, kicks 5 goals. That's what they're talking about, looking for leadership from senior players.
And clearly it was a good mark as well.
Having a discussion with Satanta over the merits of that decision as well. I don't think they're in agreement either.
Satana's got a brother at the Blues too, who's one hell of an athlete, Evanly.
Bentic caught by Ottens. Either that or Cam Mooney couldn't understand him, Jason. 82 points, the margin. Geelong's all-time greatest victory over Carlton, 73 points.
They'll break that.
Set at Corio Oval 74 years ago. Some history beckons here in this final term. How will Carlton respond? Wiggins, well, they got met very solidly. Play on was the call, and now a bounce. Rivalry round in round 3, the AFL next weekend as you check the Cats bench early in this final term. Geelong will be at the MCG on Sunday against Melbourne, while this Blues team will be at the same ground on Saturday to take on the Bombers.
And it is back to man-on-man, no loose man in defence now for the Blues, so they're going to fight it out in one-on-one contests.
Here's Lappin to his right as Houlihan gives it to his long-time running mate, and Houlihan misses.
Now, I mean, you're having a bad night. If you could put the ball in one player's hands running into goal to hit a target, Ryan Houlihan's one of the most skilled players by foot, and he misses.
Yes, not too much has gone right for the Blues. Lee Carlton on the boundary line, though. Gary Ablett coming off for a run. He's had a magnificent second half.
He has indeed. He's been sensational everywhere, and it's surprising, as we said early in the game, that Houlihan was picking him up because he is a ball player.
And Nick Stevens is following his opponent Cameron Ling. Ling right now playing as a full forward.
You made the suggestion at half-time you wouldn't mind seeing Stevens at full forward. You probably weren't thinking he might be at full back.
No, not at that stage.
Good delivery, Hawkins to Mooney.
Oh, and look at Ling pushing everyone else out. He wants it. Long kick, 1 out.
And he's got it. He's a former full forward as a junior. Is Ling.
That's a mark.
And he wins a free kick in the goal square.
Well, it's really almost the opposite. At the other end of the ground, Stevens would beat Ling for pace. At this end of the ground, Ling, who's an accomplished full forward, and I think somebody who should play there a hell of a lot more than he does, is just going to be much stronger overhead.
And like a good full forward, why shepherd it through when you can take the mark or get the free kick?
He gets his second.
Oh, he enjoyed that.
87 points. The margin, 5 minutes into this final quarter on a glum night for Nick Stevens and the Blues.
Well, they set it up, Jason, didn't they? They knew that the advantage was there, and Cameron Mooney was good enough to expose it with a good kick.
Well, he spoke to Mark Thompson on before the bounce last night, and he spoke about Cameron Ling. He said, look, we've got to go back to setting him the target of playing on the best player for the opposition in the midfield for 22 weeks, and he'll win 16 out of the 22.
Well, that's one.
Correct.
Tick.
Cameron Ling said a year or so ago, I love footy. It's one of the only games where you can come out and basically smash somebody on the opposition fairly. 87 points. They're smashing them on the scoreboard tonight. Bentic caught by Otten's kick. Spills to Chapman, who works with Selwood, and now Hunt. And Wojcinski about to be under pressure. Wheeled away from Walker, no mean feat.
This bloke's played a really important role, Bartel. He's pushed down, he's blocked up, and he's won his own footy and delivered magnificently through the middle.
Mackey delivering to Nathan Ablett, and Fev at the other end is saying, well, that's what I want, boys. That sort of delivery.
Imagine Mooney and Nathan Ablett both with 5 to their name. What sort of night is that for Geelong fans? That's what they've been crying out for, a couple of key forwards that can mark the ball and kick goals.
If he kicks the goal, it's Geelong's highest ever score against Carlton in those 110 years, and we've still got a long way to go. On a career night for Nathan Ablett in his 13th senior game.
Never rains but a pause, doesn't it? They've been looking, as you say, for key forwards for some time. All of a sudden now,
it's going to be hard to find a spot.
4 or 5.
Steve Johnson, 5'5", not enough in the VFL, although they say that he will still be considered only come round 6.
And Clinton, we saw a young man up in the Northern Territory make his debut up there who's going to be exciting to say the least when he makes his centre stage act.
Nathan Shakira out of the Wanderers club. They're actually talking earlier in the week that it would be him that would be coming into this Cats team for his debut tonight, not Hawkins or Varco. He played in the VFL team for Geelong today, so Shakira closing in as well, and there's a whistle for a high contact and a Geelong free.
Against Eddie Betts coming in on Matthew Scarlett. He felt that Scarlett was being a little bit over the top with Fev and just approached him front on, gave away the free kick. Been a great night for Matty Scarlett. Yep. He was disappointing last week, and I think he copped a bit of criticism. Talk about his leadership or lack thereof, but nothing wrong with what he's done tonight.
Murphy, the door ajar for the Blues here. Mark Murphy's a classy finisher, and he drives through the goal for the Blues.
Just love the decision-making of Mark Murphy. He thinks first, second and last about the team. Never is there an issue of his own stats or whether or not he wants to get the goal. His immediate thought when he gets this football, and we'll have a look, is who's in the best position. There's the smother by one of his teammates. Bang, straight into a handball. Worked it out too that he's going to have the 1-2, but he's a darn good individual to have coming through your club. Looks like he's worked a bit of boot polish into that hair as well.
Yeah. Still just 19 years of age.
That's better from Ackland. He just had to spoil it. You don't have to palm it off. It's not absolutely necessary to lay it off like a handball each time. Just neutralised.
Wins the free, sends it out wide to the attacking side of Cade Simpson, who feeds Lappin, who drifts it for Murphy. Can he break the tackle? He can. The kick lets him down then under some pressure. Geelong away. Blake. And listen to the crowd.
Oh, even Blakey's hitting targets.
Wow. They were excited about that, and they'll be excited about this. Hawkins with strong hands.
What about a passage of play where your ruckman streams out of defence and hits a leading forward who then passes the ball to your first game of Tom Hawkins, who takes a strong mark?
Yeah.
Too good.
One of the things that's going to be difficult to appreciate from a long way away is the noise that this bloke makes when he hits the football. It's that pure sound, Jason. Yes. I know it's rare when we play golf, but when you finally get one in the middle, you know you've hit it well. Well, this bloke, you hear the noise, you know he strikes it magnificently.
And one of the best nicknames for a new AFL footballer, the Tomahawk.
He kicks all right.
Kicks Geelong's highest ever score against Carlton. And don't his teammates love it?
Well, I guess what rubs salt into the wounds for the Blues is Lance Whitnell, the new skipper of the club. He had a dirty week last week, found himself spending plenty of time on the bench. He now finds himself at fullback on a first gamer and a little bit of frustration there too.
Well, that's a good stretch and grab. Bit of frustration, you're right, but that's the most impressive thing. Out of the middle, he centres it and he launches it. And look at the size of him.
One of the biggest challenges of Lance Whitnell's career right now. Now he gets his way through this trough.
Tell you what, he looks more like an axe than a tomahawk.
Waite with one arm pinned by Bartel. Runs on does Jared Waite. Another son of a gun playing AFL footy, delivering to Fisher.
18-4, the mark's now inside 50 with that one to Fisher. And Lappin, I think, trying to prove a point, has picked up 5 possessions in this last quarter off the wing.
Waite coming off for the Blues, Josh Kennedy on.
Brad Fisher kicked 2 goals in the second quarter. A shoulder injury hampered his 2006 season, restricting him to just 13 games. Looking for the Blues' 9th goal tonight from 45 metres out. He misses to the right-hand side.
The last thing you can afford to do when you're getting flogged is poor kicking in front of goal. And 8 goals, 11 for Carlton. A lot of those misses have been pretty much regulation shots for goal.
This game was tight early, 13 points the margin midway through the second quarter. Geelong closed with the final 3 goals of the opening half, led by 32 points at the main break. A 9-goal-2 third term, setting us up to this position now, which they enjoy an 87-point lead with 12 minutes to go.
Such a stark contrast in the confidence of the two sides. The ability to take risks, to back yourself to hit targets when you're playing well, as Geelong are. Carlton become introverted. They tend to make mistakes because they're worried about making mistakes, and it just compounds matters.
Gardner tied up. Scott on the footy. Ackland, Fisher. Favola's got to beat 2. About the best odds he's had all night.
You see, on a good night, Fev holds that, mate.
Yeah.
Wojcinski away.
On a better night, though, he's 1-on-1. Yeah. And Milburn has just been a star. He has read the ball brilliantly.
Here's Burns. Another speedster.
Oh, again.
Blake to Bartel. Hawkins is loose.
Now, Jose, I know you'd be disappointed if he even considers passing this.
Just curious, a couple of times now in the last quarter they've used Mark Blake as a link man, and not the ideal person to be delivering the ball by foot, but again, confidence is a great thing. We saw him kick one into the man on the mark early in the game. Now he's hitting targets.
Listen for the dull thud.
All right.
Oh, have a look at the kick.
It was brilliant. He hit that sweet spot, Jared. He's got 3 on debut.
And might I suggest we saw Travis Varco with a very animated celebration after his second goal. I thought we might have seen a little soft shoe shuffle there after he kicked that one. He just went off, and it's a beautiful kick of the football from a tight angle. But I reckon he runs off, and there's a couple of little quick steps here in celebration. He's off and running.
A bit of a jig from the first gamer.
And deservedly so.
Oh, Lee Carlton, it was right in front of you.
It was indeed. That is a thud, Jared. You are spot on. He makes a great noise when it hits the boot.
There's few players that can do that. Bernie Quinlan was one. Gary Ablett Sr. was another. And you have to hit it square if you're going to do that.
Selwood says, let me join in the fun, boys. An explosive burst on the clearance. Gibbs. Oh, the Ablett brothers. It's like it's in the backyard. And Nathan says, I'll kick it. He's got 5. The lead is 99 points.
Well, it is just unbelievable. It's going to be pretty much all smiles. Did you see the smirk on Neil Barnes' face? Yeah. Up the back corner there. You've got Cameron Mooney with 5. Nathan Ablett with 5. Tom Hawkins has got 3 in his first game. Travis Varco's got 2 in his first game. This is just fairy tale stuff.
It's exciting too for the competition. I mean, there he is, Bomber Thompson. Yep. Come on, Bomber, you're looking to TV. Give us a smile.
It's just a job, Derek.
No, she's not a job.
The one, Barmy back right was the classic one. The smirk followed by the yawn.
Oh, a lot of fun to be had here for Geelong fans on the drive down the highway. Scotland. I'll be talking about this one all week. Walker, Ackland, Murphy, intended for Betts. Look at the speed of Enright and the confidence, although Betts, great chase, should be rewarded. It is, and there's no advantage. So just when Fev thought he was going to get a cheapie, it's coming back for Eddie Betts. Fev, by the way, did not have a goalless game for all of last year as he went on to win the Coleman Medal and be the All-Australian full forward. He's goalless thus far.
Looms is a big challenge in a couple of weeks, Jason. If Melbourne can happen to win tomorrow, on Monday.
Yep. Then Melbourne v Geelong next week. It'll be a beauty. But hopefully Melbourne won't win on Monday, Jerry.
Sorry, I forgot about them.
Betts squeezes it through. Carlton get their ninth. Eddie Betts is first.
Well, this 22 Carlton players out on the ground now just praying for the final siren. It's one of those performances where you can't hide. You just want to get off the ground, away from the supporters, because they are staring in disbelief at something that is the complete opposite of what happened last week. So many hopes coming into this game to start off the season with a couple of wins, and for Carlton it's all fallen apart at the seams.
Geelong obviously won't look too far ahead, but after that Melbourne game, 3 matches against clubs that didn't feature in the finals last year: Hawthorn, Kangaroos and Richmond. So things can turn in a hurry, and if their confidence is up, this could become one of the good news stories of the AFL. Less than 10 minutes to go in the game.
Worried that you blokes keep penciling in victories for teams playing Hawthorn. Any danger?
Well, it depends on whether the butchery continues.
Yeah, I was going to say, one director told us there was a butchering going on last week. Is flying high, they knock it down to Mooney. Oh, they're too unselfish down there now. Russell bandaged up. Whitnell for O'Halpin. Now Walker. Murphy lost control of it. Look at the balance Gary Ablett possesses.
He does. He rarely goes to ground. Very strong through the hips.
Josh Hunt weaved through a couple. Bartell, loose men in midfield.
Yep.
Prismal is one of them.
One of the great things about the early season is the emergence of stars, young stars, but there's nothing more exciting than a young full forward emerging.
Chapman emerging and kicking and missing to the right-hand side.
Oh, and upslip with himself too. He just strolled in for an easy shot on goal, and normally I would suggest 9 times out of 10 minimum he would slot that.
It's one of the more entertaining 94-point games we've seen in the AFL in recent times.
Just in the nervous 90s at the moment, Geelong. They're not quite hitting them as cleanly as they could.
Well, you asked, would the margin be 2 or 3 figures? It might be about to change. The kick, though, from Selwood into the pocket. Thornton has Walker presenting on half-back, and he marks. Short for Houlihan.
Well, he's one out. No, he's not. It's 2 against 1.
And it's over his head as well.
They have peeled off beautifully the Geelong defence just to help out Matthew Scarlett. And he's been one of their best.
The margin sits at 94. We're closing in of time on the final quarter. Thornton gets in front of Nathan Ablett to mark. Less than 8 minutes to go. Gibbs. He goes short for Ackland. Has some run down the centre corridor now. Murphy puts it in front of Wiggins. Fisher is back.
He hasn't been their worst, Simon Wiggins. He's presented and held the ball well when delivered to him.
Oh, that's what they want to see from Ottens. A contested mark there. Now they're away with the speedster in Burns. Although good chase from Kennedy. Scarlett. Burns short. Travelled 15. Selwood. Mum-Marie torn tonight with 2 of her boys in action on opposite sides of the country.
Have a look at that. Nearly 100 extra disposals to Geelong. That is just total domination. And it's not from overuse of the football either.
Gardner.
Does this qualify as a butchery?
Well, he's gone long. There's 2 Carlton players and no one else. I guess he thought it was their night. Something will happen. It didn't materialise. And here's Mark Murphy. Ackland for Walker. He's had a bit of it tonight. 27 possessions now as he feeds it to Carazzo in the middle.
I wouldn't say Carlton have butchered the football, Jerry. They just haven't had it. That's been the problem.
Probably they're kicking into their forward 50 early in the piece was where they let themselves down, and they didn't cover off and look for the shorter option when there were so many Geelong defenders long, and it's really just been, I think, how badly they've just fallen away that's been the worrying side for the Blues. But they've got to bounce back, and they've got to do it next week.
Murphy, Wiggins, Fisher, good chain of handballs, frees up Carazzo, and that's a clever snap. And Andrew Carazzo has got his second.
Yep, good finish. It's all junk time now for the Blues, but if they can steal a couple of late goals, at least just to take some edge off the percentage thumping they're going to cop tonight, it's better than nothing. It's been a very, very sour night. So few positives for the Blues. But a good finish from Carazzo.
Well, it's going to be a big build-up for the Blues. They've got to put this one to bed pretty quickly because next week she's the Bombers at the MCG.
Saturday afternoon as part of rivalry round. Showdown in Adelaide. The Derby in Perth. Live and exclusive on Fox Sports AFL. Your new home of the 2007 Premiership season and beyond. As the Cats celebrate an 88-point lead with a tick over 5 minutes remaining. And a restart for Hayden Kennedy. Martin's going nowhere. Quick hands provided by Lappin. Betts assuming the front spot, wins a free for in the back. Would be advantage. No.
Ooh, he was about to have a shot on goal too.
Been a pretty quiet night for Eddie. Just the 4 kicks, 4 handballs.
And again he tries to spear for Volder, who had no sight amongst plenty of Cats. Bartel. Clever kick. Prismal the mark. Overlap is on. Down the centre corridor, Mackie can go. Now Ablett is short. He'll go shorter than that. You saw Ablett flying through. Burns the mark. Varco should shepherd. He does. And Burns kicks and hits the post.
I'll tell you what, a lot of relief there for Matthew Lappin. He was the man chasing Shannon Burns, and he just couldn't pick him up leg speed wise. But we saw a discussion at three-quarter time between Dennis Pagan and Matthew Lappin. We just see Burns getting another crack, and he misses again after a turnover by the Blues. But Matthew Lappin, he's come back on the ground. He's had 9 touches in the last quarter. You know, it's great to see him at least stand up and say, well, I'll give everything I've got for the last half an hour and I'll get myself involved in the play. It'd be very easy just to drop your head and not want to be a part of things tonight.
The margin is 90, and their previous best win over the Blues was 73.
There's possession number 10 for Lappin this quarter.
Many of the Blues fans headed for the exits a long time ago. The crowd, an impressive one tonight, 41,113. That's a telling stat as well. 20-4. The marks inside the forward 50 for Geelong.
Interesting change for the Blues. Mark Murphy off for a spell, and Cameron Cloak, second ruckman, on for the Blues.
Scramble and half forward for Carlton.
And he looks like he might just sit a kick behind play, Cameron Cloak.
So what happens to Lance Whitnell? Continues at full back?
Well, it's funny. They tend to play a horses for courses type of deal with Lance Whitnell, and they'll move him forward some weeks, back other weeks, as we see a big spiral kicked in.
Well read by Egan, couldn't hang on.
But that doesn't necessarily make it easy to rediscover your touch, does it? You know, is it easier to get possessions sweeping across half-back, or perhaps go back to his natural position of centre-half forward and see if he can just use his smarts to kick a few goals?
Well, it must be taking its toll, I think, on people at Carlton. Certainly be taking its toll on Lance, because as captain of the club, he hasn't got off to a great start, but he just looks probably a bit more comfortable at the moment in defence than he did up forward.
Blues pressing late, trailing by 90 points. Gary Ablett is there. Josh Hunt had been a step ahead
Well, straight to the opposition.
All evening except for then as Fisher marks. Fisher kicked 2 goals in the second quarter. Carazzo with 2 as well for the Blues. The rest singles. Reiterating, a goalless night for Favola with 3 minutes remaining. Scotland, their primary ball winner with 37 touches. Fisher missing this one to the near side. 24-17 plays 10-12 now. So the Blues will be forced into playing catch-up by way of percentage for the good part of the early going.
Well, right now Matthew Lappin is side by side Brad Ottens, but the short fired themselves up.
He's heading to the bench. Ottens. Blake about to come on.
Geelong running. They've had 11 goal kickers tonight. Ablett, Nathan and Mooney each with 5. What's going to happen here? Cameron Ling running into Cameron Cloak. Good tackle by the Blues big man as Stevens goes to Walker on the wing. Short ball effective. Carazzo, was he off?
He certainly was. Got away with it.
Fev continues to lead. Back and forth as Carazzo squares it up for Cloak. And he's going to try and give the Fev a go, but he's got to beat about 14. Eddie Betts emerges through the gloom tonight for the Blues and drives it through. Good goal from Eddie, his second of the final quarter.
That's a great goal, Jason. He elected to go the boomerang.
I was about to say, how can you go on a big sweeping arc to the left and end up kicking a banana? You've got to kick it across your body running the wrong way.
He actually made it more difficult. He might have just straightened up in that last step. Let's have a look at it unfold. Kennedy throws the target. But there it was. Yeah, he just got the angle right, did Eddie Betts. So he's got 2 for the night. I guess as a small forward, that's a pretty reasonable return, given there's been a lot of lack of opportunities.
So Carlton have finished with the last 3 goals of the match after the margin had got to 99 points. Less than 2 minutes to go. And we'll get another bounce in the middle. And the fans start the song. Selwood.
He's a quality young man, this one. Clear thinker with the footy in his hand. And
oh, the ruckman, he's done it again. The big bloke, he just couldn't keep his balance.
I would not want to see him in a hurdles race. Nathan Ablett for Selwood, who snaps at goal and misses to the near side.
That was nearly a spectacular pickup of his bootlaces running at full pace. Mark Blake, and just...
Well, he took offence at your comments about big blokes early in a match.
When they try to do too much, it always goes wrong. And it did.
Gibbs. 84 points is Geelong's lead. Thornton. Wiggins through midfield. Fev again. See the crowd get stuck into him. He pops it up. Ackland is in front of Egan. Ball is over their head. And it's a boundary throw-in.
Even that kick there into Kane Ackland wasn't a particularly great one from Fev. He's a big bloke, you want to kick it up in the air, but kick it to the advantage of the contest. If he's in front, you don't want him having to prop and push back against his opponent to get it.
Betts for his 3rd of the final term. He finishes with a flurry. And that's what Eddie Betts can do. Light things up in a hurry. Alas for Blues fans, the game was shot to bits a long time ago. But some late respectability. They now finish with the last 4 goals.
If they kick one more, does that jeopardise the greatest winning margin between these two sides, Clinton?
Right now it's at 78 points. All time 73. One more goal would avoid history, Jason.
Josh Hunt coming from the ground. And Jimmy Bartell back on. He's holding his hamstring, is he? Let's hope not.
That would be the only sour point on this wonderful night for Geelong. Corey. Carlton need one more to avoid an unwanted place in history for matches between these two clubs. Oh, Cameron Mooney.
Sort of big half, 3/4.
Can line up his 6th goal after having none in the first quarter.
He's still got Joel Corey in space if he wants it.
He's going to go short, and it's Gardner presenting himself. And Charlie Gardner might have the final kick of the night. It's been a great night for the Cats. The only remaining question is the final margin. Gardner hasn't kicked a goal. One of only 11 Cats that has not kicked a goal tonight in this celebration. And that's what it has been. They've unveiled two young stars. Can Gardner ice a very rich cake? He can't. It matters not. Geelong with their greatest ever win over the Blues in 110 years of meetings. They've won by 78 points on a night where Tom Hawkins made an entertaining debut. A 9-2 third quarter was the catalyst. One of the stars was David Wojcinski. Here he is with Lee Coleman.
David, sensational win, 21 possessions yourself and a goal.
Yeah, might as well wrap with that. We come out to, keep playing pretty fast footy today, and same as last week. Unfortunately, last week we didn't get over the line, but this week, it was good. Everyone ran really well and used the ball well, and a lot better than last week. So.
And the big forwards, Tommy Hawkins, Cam Mooney, and also Nathan Ablett all chimed in with about 13 goals between them.
Yeah, no, they were great. It's good to see Tommy Hawkins play. I was really wrapped that he got a game, and he's got really strong hands, and he was fantastic today. And Nath keeps presenting himself week after week, and it was awesome today. And same as Moons. Moons is just rock solid down there. So he has been all pre-season. So.
And Cameron Ling, we spoke about it during the game, did a great job on Nick Stevens.
Yeah, it was good. Lingy's such a good tagger, mate. He's probably one of the best in the comp at it. He's got such a big motor and runs all day. He's hard to get away from, and he's so strong too.
And Melbourne next week, you're looking forward to that one. I think you're playing on Sunday, so big game for the club also.
Yeah, Sunday at the G against Melbourne. I don't know, we'll have a look at them early in the week, and we'll just go into next week full of confidence, I suppose.
All the best for the year, David. Well done.
Thanks, Colby.
Thanks, Lee. Sounds trite to say it for round 2 of the season, but this was a big game for Geelong.
Absolutely. They needed to make a statement, and they made a very, very big statement.
They deliver their highest ever score against Carlton. They present their greatest ever winning margin. The Blues are 1-1. They've got the Bombers next week, while for Geelong, it's a date against Melbourne. They win tonight by 78 points here at the Telstra Dome. 24-18 to 12 goals 12, our final score on Fox Sports AFL.
Welcome to Flight Centre. This is Sarah.
Hi, we're thinking about taking a trip to Bangkok and London.
With a beach break on the way back.
I'll check it out.
At Flight Centre, we go out of our way to find you the perfect trip at a great price. And if you happen to find a cheaper available price, we'll beat it. Flight Centre. Unbeatable.
You threaten my people with slavery and death. You insult my queen. This is madness! This is Sparta!
300. Only in cinemas.
Welcome to the Fine Form Awards. The nominees are Jono, for not drinking and driving.
Hey, home delivery for Jono? Yeah?
Just rock and roll. Rory, for avoiding aggro.
Bunny draft. Out of the way. Better make that too.
And Brett, for not hitting on his mate's ex. The winner is Rory. You've raised the bar this time, mate.
When it comes to making love, every man wants to enjoy the experience for as long as he can.
Is that it?
If your lovemaking only lasts a short time, call the Advanced Medical Institute. Their doctors have helped thousands of men with their premature problems. Call 1-800-200-500 now. That's 1-800-200-500.
Phoning for a pizza using your own dough? Priceless. Debit MasterCard lets you shop over the phone using your own money. Debit MasterCard. Better than EFTPOS.
This is
Easter Sunday, there's a lion in the sand at Manly, and the Warriors are flying in to cross it. Kick off your Arvo action at 1:30 with the pre-game show. Then buckle up. The Sea Eagles and the Kiwis are live from 2.
And the fans go crazy at Brookline.
And if that's not enough, the Golden Point Panthers take it to the Titans. Can the Coast run down the Big Cats?
Well, it doesn't get any better than that.
Easter Sunday, you know it's for footy on Fox Sports.
Fox Sports brings you all the passion of the AFL in 2007. From first bounce round 1 to the final siren at the G, Fox Sports brings you every clash, every week, including 4 live games nationally from every round of the AFL Premiership. And the weekend's never over with highlights and replays, plus 4 weekly shows to keep you in the game. Fox Sports, the new AFL Heartland.
It was a dream night at the Telstra Dome for Cats fans. Look at that, a record margin against the Blues. 78 points, if you don't mind. They led at every change, and a magnificent 9-goal third quarter really broke the match wide open. Everything that Geelong wanted to see happened tonight. The young players played well. Look at the match stats. They've had nearly 100 more possessions, Jared.
Yeah, look, it was a total domination. It was an exciting night to be here. We saw the emergence of a couple of young men who are going to be big names in footy, and I think it was just good to see just how good Geelong can be. The numbers will all favour Geelong in many respects, but the big one was just how much they dominated on the scoreboard. But the emergence of Tom Hawkins was exciting to see. Varco also is going to give great excitement, but just to see how well Geelong can play with the 2 Ablets up forward, I think, Jason, put you in good stead to see how far this club can go through the season.
Enjoyed the match, given it was such a big margin, because we saw some exciting football, in particular in the third quarter. 9 goals to the Cats. They were superb.
Well, Mark Blake, I think he was badly beaten early in the piece by Cameron Cloak, and yet I think he just continued to work his way into the match, as did Gary Ablett. Nathan Ablett was good for the entirety of the match, and this bloke, after quarter time, he made a statement. Their forward line just looks so potent. All of a sudden, it's right up there with the most potent forward lines in the competition. Everyone's got to maintain form, obviously, but that's going to be a difficult one to match up on.
Absolutely, and they didn't have to rely on Brad Ottens to take marks up there either. He spent most of his time in the ruck doing a great job with Mark Blake. You mentioned a couple of names before, Hawkins, Varco, there's a few of them. Some exciting young players for the Cats.
Oh, there's no question about that, and after your first game, that's a great relief to get it underway, and they couldn't have picked a better first game to play. I mean, imagine being in the other opposition side playing in your first game, and that would have been quite horrendous, but the ball was just coming through thick and fast. They were being aided and abetted by the Blues, because the Blues midfield just continued to kick the ball long and bomb it, and it didn't work. And yet, bang. I mean, that is Bernie Quinlan all over. That is just a great kick of the footy. And he shows some emotion too. He's going to be just a great player to watch for many years, we hope.
Yeah, we spoke about Mark Thompson, the coach of Geelong. Even if he was allowed to write the script, it wouldn't have been as good as what we saw tonight. A magnificent celebration there from Travis Varco after one of his goals. Ken Hinkley having a chat to Tom Hawkins. What a buzz for him, kicking 3 goals in his first match. So much expectation heaped upon him, and he looks like he'll deliver, and pretty early.
And that's going to be part of it. They'll have to manage the expectation on the young bloke. I mean, look how big he is next to Cameron Mooney there. He is a big man, but I was really impressed with his mobility, and he's got a great smile on his face. Looks like he just wants to chew a football.
Troubling times for the Blues?
I don't think so. I mean, it was a bad loss. They're going to have a couple more of those as they rebuild to power. They've been up for a long time. They're always going to hit a bit of a slide. I don't think anybody expected this, though.
Well, it was all one-way traffic for Geelong. They were absolutely fantastic. The young players played well. The experienced players played well. You've got to love the game that Matthew Scarlett played on Brendan Favola. Completely shut him out of the game.
Yeah, he worked in tandem with a couple of his people down there. I think Darren Milburn he worked in tandem with particularly well. And he had it out there to prove a point. And I think the man with the The deep black hair, I think, took a scalp, and Brendan Favola goalless doesn't happen all that often.
No, a pretty sad story in the Carlton rooms. You can bet your bottom dollar that they won't be enjoying the aftermath with Dennis Pagan or training during the week. That's all we've got time for from the Dome. It was 78 points in favour of the Cats. Plenty more action coming your way on AFL. Fox Sports, it is just absolutely magnificent. We look forward to your company next time. Until then, have a great Easter. Good night.
This has been a Fox